Sierra HD. Even
Back home to McDavid on the left-hand side. Gunther maintains. Penalty is over. Now 6 on 5 as Howard sprints onto the ice. One shot.
Get into Wolf GMC.
Over.
We're making it easy.
Dennis here from Weiss Johnson, along with my brother Mark.
Hi there.
My bro is the go-to for all our tough installs.
I do all the hard work. He gets all the glory, mister.
I'll be famous, but seriously, Mark's the best, and he's here if you're looking to add a legal basement suite in your home.
We install tons of benefits for folks wanting basement suites. It helps to subsidize your mortgages. Obviously.
Weiss Johnson, your legal suite heating system experts.
Visit weiss-johnson.com today.
Winter in Alberta doesn't mess around.
And neither does Titan Supply.
For over 50 years, we've earned the trust of our customers across a variety of industries.
Because we lead with integrity,
honesty,
and respect.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Brent from Titan Supply. When the weather hits hard,
we're fully stocked with rigging, lifting, and hauling gear that works as hard as you do.
Titan Supply.
Built on trust, driven by safety.
Serving Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary.
Let us help you face the weather the Titan way.
Visit titansupply.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show.
Penalty is over. Now 6 on 5 as Howard sprints onto the ice. One shot on the power play. McDavid has the net empty. He hits for the Utah shoots. Game over.
On Sports 1440.
Who then regains hits for the net. What did it go? McDavid to Nugent Hopkins. Back to the captain. 5-3. That's it.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Hit well to deep left center. And this one will go. Guerrero Jr. runs one into the seats in left center, and the Blue Jays take the lead.
What a wonderful Wednesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, brought to you by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca. And hope you are having a fantastic, wonderful Wednesday afternoon. It is another game day in the World Series. And you can get odds, boosts, and more at PlayAlberta.ca. The Jays and the Dodgers. It is now a best of 3. As the Jays, another big win last night, 6-2. Vladdy Guerrero with the huge home run. Bieber strikes out Ohtani twice. Might have been able to strike him out 3 times. Did you see that one pitch? Like, oh my goodness, that looked like a strike all day long. But nonetheless, didn't matter. Going to get some that go your way. They get some don't go your way. It happens. And the Jays, they're bottom of the order, better. Their big hitters, better yesterday. Their relievers, better. They were the better team, top to bottom. And now it's a best of 3. And a rematch of game 1, Snell versus Trey Yesavage. We will see the lineup coming. I'll be curious, are the Jays going to stick with the hard, minimal lefties against Snell? Like, can you afford to take Barger out, Whis Springer out of your lineup? I don't know. You got to have some pop. So we'll see. Hey, credit Lucas. Goes into the one hole last night, comes out with some key hits, gets on, and Vladdy Guerrero hits that 2-run bomb in the third inning, gave the Jays the lead. They never looked back, didn't relent. And, man, I'm looking forward to Game 5 tonight. And then, of course, we know Game 6 will be Friday. You can listen to both of those right here on Sports 1440, coming up at the conclusion of our show tonight and on Saturday. Also, the Edmonton Oilers on the Hockey Frenzy night. The Oilers, a frenetic second period, as they were not good in the first frame, but they regrouped, came out, scored on the first shift of the second period and never really looked back. Scored 5 goals, 5-on-5 in the middle period. It's massive. And they kind of cruised to the victory after that. And hey, their best guys played better. Shocking. Ekholm and Bouchard weren't on for a goal against. It's progress considering they've been on for 21 combined in the first 10 games of the season. McDavid, 2 goals. Draisaitl, goal. Got some depth guys. Ty Emerson, Mike Howard scores again, and the Oilers skate away with a 6-3 win. Utah's good team, but I think you still see the difference. They're quick though. They are a fast team, as are the Oilers. And I'll say this: of all the new guys, the guy who I think is starting to show the most is Jack Roslovic. He was good again last night. His speed. What about that move in the first period? I know he hit the goalpost, didn't finish, but if he scores on that play, that's on all the highlight reels all across. He can really move, changes directions very well. When he has the puck on his stick, that guy is dangerous. No question. And he's been more reliable defensively, which is what you have to be. You can't be, unless you're a one-trick pony who's like a 50-goal scorer, it's hard in today's NHL to be a one-trick offensive player who the coach can't rely on. It just doesn't work. And he's starting to look better all the time for Edmonton. Their top players starting to play a little bit better. That helps. Other depth guys looking good. So the Oilers, I think tomorrow night might be a little bit different looking of a game. The Rangers play a much more defensive system, tight defensively than Utah does. So Oilers will have to bear down there. And we can look at at that game last night and see kind of how different it is. I don't know if any of you watched the late Vancouver Rangers game, but Vancouver had 3 high danger chances in that entire game against the Rangers. So, and that was with Jonathan Quick in goal. So Quick turning back the clock, getting him to for the when he was in Vancouver on the road. Used to do it for fun as a member of the Kings, and gets another one as a member of the Rangers. And now you'll have Shesterkin versus Skinner for the second time this season. Skinner was really good. That was his best game of the year earlier this year against the New York Rangers. So we'll get to all that. We got a busy show with you. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us in our eWell inbox, your partner in power since 1975. For all your electrical gear and needs, go to ewel.ca. Mike Rupp's going to join us momentarily from the NHL Network. We got Dave McCarthy from SiriusXM. Business of Sport today. Rich Winter will be by. We've had now a month of it, and we're going to talk about the business, because the business of sport changed a lot at the levels below the NHL. Now, it did impact the NHL too, because they had to change how long you maintain draft status for players now. It's the same for CHL and NCAA players, which is a good thing. But also recruiting, everything else has changed a lot. So you've had a month now, and you're seeing some players stay down there. How many are coming back? How's that landscape changed? So we'll talk to the GM of the Oil Kings, Kurt Hill, in the business of sports. We got Speck and Yaremchuk, another edition of the 2-Minute Warning with Cam Tate. Also, Grant Fedoruk, because Zach Hyman getting closer. Could see Hyman returning to the lineup very soon. And we'll see also Trey Ford, not Trey Ford, but Terrell Ford. You see it. And they've got the decision for him to sign an extension with the green and gold. So that's pretty good. And you know what? Hey, it's never personal in business, even though it's your twin brother. He obviously wants him to play. I don't think Trey Ford is going to be here in Edmonton next year. I know his brother just re-signed, and you might think that means something. I don't think they're connected. So we'll see. But let's get in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings if you're looking for solar for both your home or your business. It's a great place to start. They can get you all the grants and save you a lot of money. And not only in the installation, but long-term, actionelectrical.net. As we welcome back our regular Wednesday guest, Mike Rupp, former NHLer, Stanley Cup winner, Game 7 hero, and analyst on the NHL Network. Mike Rupp joins us. Rupper, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Greg. Did you watch all 16 games yesterday? Are you tired today?
I did not watch all 16. I was on air for a few of them. And to be honest, the World Series was getting a little bit more time for me yesterday. So I watched. I watched a lot of the highlight packages. Like you can watch all 5 minutes of every game and see the different plays. So I definitely went through, because usually on a night I can watch, a period or two of certain games, but last night was definitely World Series night for me.
Yeah, it was. It's overwhelming though, because I was so excited to watch all the games, and I did the same thing. I'm like, then I don't know which game to go to. Am I bouncing around? Am I going to stick with one? And then then I'm like, I kind of want to watch a baseball game too. It was a good night, but kind of a stressful night, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, totally agreed. Now, a few things from last night. The Chicago Blackhawks got Connor Bedard. Hey, we all knew Connor Bedard could shoot the puck, and we saw his last night a pretty good performance from him. 3 goals. The Blackhawks, it's early, and I always like to preface that. It is early, but they do look significantly more competitive this year, 5-3-2 in their first 10 games.
Yeah, I mean, they've been impressive, and their competition or their compete level is found another level in itself. So I think that's the biggest thing with a young team. You have a lot of players that we know that the talent's been there, but we needed to see, can they find ways to, I mean, they're showing a lot of character too. I mean, they're not disappearing in these games, especially the first few. Even that opening night game, like they had a little battle in them, and I love that. So they've been fantastic in that regard. I think it's a work in progress. I don't know what that looks like come game 30, come game 50, but right now it's all good. I think for Chicago, you're happy with that.
Yeah, and Knights played great for them. We'll see them in Edmonton on Saturday, so looking forward to it. Philly and Pittsburgh last night. I just want to preface something. I see people writing brawl. Stop it. Okay, it's a wrestling match. Stop it. That's not a brawl. Like today's people who think a brawl, that's not a brawl. I'll show you videos of the Flyers and the Penguins in the past. Those were brawls. Last night was basically, a little bit of a wrestling match, and then there's a linesman between us. Now I don't want to get into it. That's what last night was.
Yeah, I agree 100%. There's so many times that I'll be on social and be like, there's fights are breaking out left and right out in Vancouver, and you go on and there's no fights. Everyone's gloves are on. That's come on. Where they get there's scrums. There's scrums, and that's what happened at the end. But it was kind of strange though, because you usually don't see that, right? And because of the situation in the game at the end of overtime, it's a 4-on-3, so it's power play for Philly. And then things get a little rough at the end there, and guys are kind of shoving around, and I think Trevor Zegras kind of kicked it up to another level. And at that time, Sid, because time expires, is on the ice. So it's kind of 4-on-3 in this scrum, and he goes and joins it. So now all of a sudden you have 8 guys that all have 10-minute misconducts, and you can't participate in the shootout. So maybe it's a wash because Zegras couldn't do it for Philly and Sid couldn't do it for the Penguins. But it's just funny. You usually don't see that, especially I feel like in overtime. There's barely even any hitting happening. So I think it's good. I thought that rivalry has gotten pretty soft over the last few years. So I'm all for throwing a little bit of gasoline on it.
Yeah. 100% with you on it. I don't know how many games of Utah you have watched this year, Rupper, but I watched them last night in Edmonton, and hey, they're a team coming. They're still not yet there where they want to be, but God, they're fast. Like the Oilers are fast. The Oilers are right now by the NHL metrics, one of the fastest, not the fast team in the NHL, and Utah is right there in the top 3. And man, they got a lot of guys can fly. And today, Logan Cooley signs an 8-year deal worth $10 million AAV that kicks in next season.
And what a start to the season he's gotten, and now getting this contract. Now all of a sudden, I don't know where he's at on people's Team USA roster, but he's got to be in consideration if he can keep this up. Just kind of coming, I don't want to say out of nowhere. I mean, he's always been a big part of USA hockey, but this is maybe that's part of the motivation too. I mean, everything seems to be working good for him, but that top line has been incredible. I think Dylan Guenther has one of the best shots in the National Hockey League today, and the way he could put the puck in the net. We talk about Cooley. I think Clayton Keller might be one of the more underappreciated offensive guys in the league. They've got a lot of weapons. I was kind of looking at it yesterday because this is a team where even dating back to their last year in Arizona as the Coyotes, I was thinking that they're going to be a team that's going to be on the cusp of getting in the playoffs. I picked them a couple years in a row to get to the playoffs. That has not happened. So I'm going to stick with them and say they are going to do it this year, especially with this start. Then I started looking at some of the analytics, and you could say, hey, Rupper, take those analytics and toss them up in the air. But I don't know how sustainable what they're doing is, but I love it. I love what I'm seeing. They've got a legitimate top line. They've got, I think it's a well-built team, but they've got some guys there. shooting percentages are up. They're not generating a ton of looks in different areas of the game. They're just putting the puck away. And you could say, well, hey, that's a pretty good attribute to have. It is. I don't know how sustainable it is, but I love what they're doing. And we're almost getting to that threshold now where, I mean, if they can play like they're doing now and put these wins together in the next 7-8 games, I mean, have you done enough? I mean, you could go 500 the rest of the way and make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So, I love what they're doing. The numbers are telling me just pump the brakes a little bit on them, but I don't really want to.
Yeah, well, yeah, they still give up a ton in the middle of the slot when you look at it at NHL Edge, and so that's an area where they definitely are going to want to tighten up. It's funny, like Chicago, I don't think is a team that I know they're in the playoff spot today. Do I think they're a playoff team? No. Seattle Kraken are the same for me, Rupper. Do you feel they're a playoff team, or are you like, man, good start, not convinced?
No, I don't. I don't. I still think that they're one of the teams that I think it's fine because we see playoff teams that make it being kind of by committee. I mean, they are probably the most by committee team in the National Hockey League, and they don't really have that guy that's going to drag them in, and that's fine. You don't have to have that. I think the biggest thing that you just want to see progress from them, because it's been year one was great, and it was a nice surprise having the Seattle Kraken and what they did. Then it hasn't really been good since, and it's probably gotten worse. So I love what they're doing right now. It's just I just want to continually see progress, developing these players, starting to form an identity. Maybe that identity is just we're going to be a hard 18 skater group every single night, and that's fine. I just don't think they have enough firepower and long-term defensive play to get them into the playoffs.
Mike Rupp joins us. You look at the Atlantic Division, and again, I always have to preface it, it's early, but Montreal and Detroit are first and second, and you go down to the bottom. Now, Tampa Bay has won 3 in a row and seems to have found their way a little bit. Florida's still out, on the outside looking in by virtue of games played, and same with Ottawa. How much more competitive do you think the Atlantic is, and do you think Montreal and Detroit can hang with the other teams and stay in the race?
So I think you and I were talking about this before the season started, or I've been kind of saying this on whatever platform I've been on, is I coming into the season thought Montreal was going to take a step back, and I look to be dead wrong right now. And they're a team that I like them. They're a fun team to watch, but fun doesn't always win games.
Yeah.
I don't know what it looks like as this season goes on, but I think they're in the mix. I mean, do they get in? They look pretty darn good, and their chances look pretty good right now, but they'll certainly be in the mix all season long. A lot of that is Dobish has been great as of late. What does that look like all year in between the pipes? I think that's a question mark for me. That Atlantic, I do think the Detroit Red Wings, I think they are for real. I think that I think we're going to see this Atlantic division get better and better as the season goes on. I expect Tampa, like you mentioned, 3 in a row. They're going to be on the up. I think the Florida Panthers are going to be just fine, and they'll find their way up. I don't know what to make of Ottawa. Ottawa either gives up 5 goals or they only give up 1. So they're a team that's a little bit all over the place, but they seem okay right now. It's going to be an absolute dogfight in the Atlantic Division. I don't know. I feel pretty secure that only one of those 2 teams make it, whether it's Montreal or Detroit. I kind of, let's throw Ottawa in there too. Do we feel like 2 teams out of those 3 can make it? I don't know if I do. Is it 1? A lot of that depends on the Metro. It's going to be a tight one the entire season in that division.
The Boston Bruins, Pasternak's producing. Morgan Geekie has 8 goals in 12 games, so nothing to criticize there. But they don't look very good, Rupper, top to bottom. No. And Jeremy Swayman is not off to a good start again.
No, the one thing that kind of having Lindholm out really hurt.
Yeah.
So getting him back is big, and hopefully that'll give them a little bit of help in that area. One guy, I'm a huge Charlie McAvoy guy. I've always been. I think people would be surprised how high I have him on my defenseman in the league list. He's really struggling right now. And I don't know if it has to do, you just think about that team, what they've gone through over the last few seasons. I mean, they have some I don't know, I don't love the roster build in general, but just in they got a new coach in here. You're pretty early already with Margot Sturm calling him out in some regards.
Yeah.
That is necessary, but it also makes you feel like, oh man, this seems like the wheels are shaking a little bit. But I think as far as Charlie McAvoy, I wonder, he just looks like he's trying to do too much. And I think he's a prideful player. I love him. That's why he's so high in my mind in the league as far as defensemen. But I don't think you can underestimate an entire season without Brad Marchand. And it's like Marshy went to Florida and he did what he did there, and it was incredible. And but there was something there. There's another leader that is outside that room. And over the years, you've gotten more and more of those going back to the Bergeron. And I think they're still not that they don't have good leaders. Just think it's a little bit of who are we? And I think you got guys trying to do the right thing, but sometimes doing more is less. And that looks like Charlie McAvoy, because he's on the struggle bus right now, to be honest with you. And he's way better than that. I think he's trying to single-handedly win them hockey games. And that's just a dangerous slope to be on.
Mike Rupp joins us. So Rupper, each guy has 6 goals in the first 10 games. You get to pick one. Who finishes the season with more goals, Celebrini or Bedard, and why?
I'm going to go, that's a tough one, man. You know how I feel about Macklin Celebrini. Oh man, I'm gonna go with Bedard. Because I don't know. I feel like what we've seen from him is we've got a little more of a motivated Connor Bedard to play the game the right way this year. And not that we're not seeing that. Macklin does that all the time. Like Macklin Celebrini is Macklin Celebrini. Like he's a rare player in this league. But I just think that Connor Bedard is that natural goal scorer that I didn't love some of the things he does in games in his prior year. He seems like he's cut some of that out. He looks like he's extra motivated. Maybe that's because of what went on with Team Canada or the lack thereof. But he seems like he's heard some people question him. And when you have great talent that is motivated that way, I think it can really take off for him. So I think Connor Bedard finishes with more goals this season.
Ooh, but points you'll take Celebrini?
If you were asking me who I want to build a franchise around, I'm taking Macklin Celebrini.
Okay. Yeah. You like him better? Why do you like Celebrini's game better?
I did. He's a guy. You know how Paul Maurice talks about Sasha Barkov, and I'm not saying Macklin's going to win a Selke, but just you need compass, guys. When your best players are players that do the right things on off the ice, compete, they're just dog on a bone. And when you have young kids come in, just be like, just watch him. That's how you do it. I could tell you, coaches could tell players what to do, but when you see a guy that's getting paid to do it, showing up every day and doing it, he's a superstar because of it. And I think he gets on Team Canada because of it. That now you're cooking. And then we hear Paul Maurice all the time. That's how he took on when he said to Anton Lundell, your baby Barkov, you do him, you follow him, you do what he does, you emulate what he does. I think when you have guys like that, it makes your job much easier as a coach. So give me Macklin Celebrini every day.
Rupper, good stuff, buddy. Have you been watching the World Series at all? Are you a baseball guy?
Yes, I actually have been. I'm kind of like a fair weather baseball fan. Like I tune in like later in the game. I check the score when it's interesting. I tune in, but man, I told you before that George Springer home run from last series was I'm rooting for the Jays, so I'm chiming in here and there in between hockey games, but I think it's been electric so far.
Yeah, well, it's down to a best of 3, and there's a good chance we could see a Game 7 Saturday night in the World Series. And if they do have that, I wonder if we see. I got to look to see on Saturday what time the Jays game is, are the Leafs playing? Yeah, they're scheduled at 7. They're going to be moving that game for sure. I would no doubt against it. Although no, it's in Philadelphia, so maybe they won't. I guess it's on the road. They won't. But if you were the Kings playing a late game, you might be like, maybe we want to move that around a bit. We'll see. So hey, it's Game 7 of the World Series, man. If those teams
can't
were
beat it.
playing in the Stanley Cup, yeah, I would think about it too. So we'll see. Awesome stuff, Rupper. We'll chat you on the rundown on Friday.
Sounds good. Enjoy.
There you go. That's Mike Rupp from the NHL Network, also co-host with me on the DFO Rundown on Fridays. 2:23. We'll come back. We'll update you on the Edmonton Oilers, Zach Hyman, and much more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Since 1971, The Brick has been committed to saving you more. Right now, hurry in to save up to $1,000 off sofas and sectionals, up to 40% off mattresses, and up to 35% off furniture. Plus, buy any 3 select major appliances and save 15% off. And if you find a lower price before the end of the year, including Black Friday and Boxing Day, we'll refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
He's a legend in the booth and a master on the mic. Low Tide brings the banter weekdays from noon to 2. Sports 1440 is where Edmonton talks sports. Get in the game. Text 833-401-1440.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal? Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
I've been job hunting for months, but I don't have the skills for the jobs I want. I've been job hunting for months, and with the help of Work First Alberta, I got hired.
Work First Alberta can help you change your story. It connects job seekers with training and resources to find meaningful employment, and it can help employers find qualified candidates. Learn how you can change your story at workfirstalberta.ca. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Winter in Alberta doesn't mess around.
And neither does Titan Supply.
For over 50 years, we've earned the trust of our customers across a variety of industries.
Because we lead with integrity,
honesty,
and respect.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Brent from Titan Supply. When the weather hits hard,
we're fully stocked with rigging, lifting, and hauling gear that works as hard as you do.
Titan Supply.
Built on trust, driven by safety.
Serving Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary.
Let us help you face the weather the Titan way.
Visit TitanSupply.ca.
Albertans celebrate a bounty of beautiful places to visit, boundless adventures to take, all in driving distance. And Sherwood Honda has the fuel-efficient vehicle that helps you go even further and appreciate more. Hybrid CRVs and Civics mean more thanks in your tanks, more great trips to be grateful for. And of course, Sherwood Honda is thankful for the chance to help you get there. It's a beautiful time of year, and it sure would be nice to hit the road with Sherwood Honda.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Northwest Crane, available for your lifting and equipment needs, specializing in selling and servicing cranes. Get lifting at northwestcrane.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
227. Welcome back. It is game day. The Jays and the Dodgers. Woo! What are you thinking, Jays fans? Are you into it? You nervous? Excited? What are your thoughts? 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. So we'll discuss that game. Of course, the Edmonton Oilers, big win last night against Utah. They got the New York Rangers, who were victorious in Vancouver last night, a 2-0 shutout victory that included an empty net goal by former Oiler Sam Carrick to salt that away. The Rangers were in real control of that game. They only gave up 3 high danger chances the entire game. So we'll see how the Oilers and the Rangers fare. Shesterkin versus Skinner. Skinner was excellent the first time they played. Oilers would obviously prefer not to get out chance 10-3 high danger like they did in that game. So maybe limit those and ideally create more than 3 high danger chances. That's all you're creating against Shesterkin. Chances of winning are going to be rather slim. So Zach Hyman, that was the question of the day. Zach Hyman skating with the team. He was there yesterday, but skated today. And he is eligible to return this Saturday. Will not happen. The Oilers play Saturday at home, and then they are on the road in St. Louis and Dallas on Monday and Tuesday. He will not play in either one of those games. So Hyman's going to miss at least the first 15 games of the season. So he's not going to play in any of the next 4. First game he might be eligible to return is the 8th of October against Colorado. But even that, not for sure. So we'll get to the oil report brought to you by Go Auto, where not only do they have best selection of vehicles with the 27 different types, over 69 locations, 15,000 vehicles. Also, great place to buy your winter tires right now. GoAuto.ca. And Chris Knobloch gives you his update on Hyman.
He looks ready to go. Yeah. I want to put him in. Yeah. Our medical staff's holding him back. I don't think it's fair. He'll be still week to week. Yeah. Still week to week. And we said it was bare minimum November 1st, and it won't be November 1st, but it'll be at least a week after that, and hopefully shortly. I don't know. We want him back. I think he looks ready, but obviously we're looking at long picture and making sure that we don't have any setbacks.
Well, yeah, we're going to talk to Grant Fedora coming up about rehabbing. When you have the dislocated wrist, but also the ligaments that go around it, and how you have to properly rehab that. What are the challenges? What are the concerns? We'll talk to Grant about that coming up. Knobloch was asked about, did he see a more urgent effort, or was it just simpler effort from his team after the first period?
Yeah, he's gotten better. Absolutely. It starts with Leon getting the puck in the first period and driving it down and finding Eki coming in. And, that gave us a little bit of energy, gave us a boost to see that happen. But, every time we come into the zone, we're looking to make a play and score, it's nice if it's there. But if they're checking you well and there's no space, unfortunately, you just have to put it in a place where you can establish a forecheck and try and work to get it back. And in the first period, we just shot ourselves in the foot way too many times. And we just had to defend the entire period, where if we were playing a little simpler, we wouldn't have to do that. And, I think in the second and third periods, we played a simpler game. We didn't turn the puck over. We made them defend. And when you make the other team defend, it's just such an easier game to play.
Well, that's true. And especially when you attack more. What about Jack Roslovic? His last few games, I think, have clearly been his best. What has the head coach noticed about his game?
Yeah, he's gotten better every game. And, that was expected. When you don't have a training camp, you don't have any exhibition games, it's tough to find your game. But without him having that, I thought he was fine starting, but he's been getting better and getting more comfortable with our systems, his line mates, what we're expecting from him, and he's contributed a lot. So yeah, I just hopefully he can continue progressing, and because I think he's a really good player.
Well, don't expect. I think the lines you're seeing right now. Now, obviously, they only had 11 forwards, so you could see one guy come back in. I don't think they're going to go 7 defensemen all the time. They might. Well, we'll see what they do for tomorrow's game. But with Zach Hyman not eligible to return for at least 4 more games, I don't see much change in the top 6 for sure, and I'm not sure they're going to change a whole bunch on the Savoy, Frederick, Henrique line either. It's just a matter of does Noah Philp come back in the lineup, and then you play him between Tomasic and Howard. Like that to me would seem like the obvious move if it was me, right? I think Philp's done more than Curtis Lazar. Although I will say this about Curtis Lazar. Like Curtis Lazar has only played in 2 games. Played probably like a total of 20 minutes in a month. It's pretty hard to evaluate any player. And it's really hard to expect much of a guy when he plays 20 minutes in a month. So keep that in mind. And Knobloch, second and final time, the Oilers will meet the Rangers, who have come to town tomorrow.
The Rangers played us very difficult, and we didn't have many scoring chances, and I think that a lot of that had to do with our puck play, not being able to make passes or not skating the puck up the ice, and. Stu came up with a lot of big saves, and probably one game where, maybe it could have went the other way. But, we expect Stu to pull those games out for us once in a while. And, he did that night.
Well, you look at the Rangers. Hey, look what they did last night. They only gave up 3 high danger chances against Vancouver. Similar. It was exact same, 10-3. The difference was when the Oilers played the Rangers, Stuart Skinner pitched a shutout. And they're going to have to be better, no question, tomorrow than they were in the first meeting against the Rangers. Here's Zach Hyman, and the benefit of him coming off an upper body injury and at least being able to skate while he rehabs his wrist.
Yeah, if you skate, it's more boring because you're on the ice, though, no pucks for a while. But I guess less boring because I had my ACL done. You weren't skating for a long time, and that sucks. But shooting's pretty fun, and I wasn't able to do that for a little bit. So. Nice to be able to do everything.
Hyman also just update on where he's at and how he feels, like how close he is. We know he's not going to play Saturday and he's not going to play on the road, but is it the 8th? Is it going to be longer? What's he feeling here on the 29th of October?
Well, I think November is the first game that I'm eligible to play. So I don't know. I don't have an answer for you really. We're meeting with the doctors this week, and we'll know more kind of, whenever you get injured like this, I'm ready to go. I'm always ready to go. Like, I'm going to tell you I'm ready to go because that's how I feel. At the end of the day, the doctors are the ones who are there to protect you from yourself at times and make sure that when you do return that you are able and ready. And that's how I feel. Having said that, they know more than I do. But to answer your question, I feel really good. I feel close. Don't know if it'll be the first, but I feel close.
Well, it's not the first. So he didn't get the MO from the coach that he could tell the truth is basically what happens there. So, which I've never really understood in that regard. Hyman gives you his impression on what he's seen from his team to the first month of the season.
I think for whatever reason, our starts haven't been the greatest, obviously. But I do see a lot of positives in our group, a lot of resilience, guys finding their game of late. And I think the last week has been really good. Even though we haven't won necessarily every game, last game was a huge second and third to kind of just get us back on track. And I feel like the new guys are settling in. Like, we've had a lot of turnover to our lineup, whether it's guys leaving or guys being injured. So it's not easy when you have that much turnover to find your role, your place, where you fit in the lineup. So I think we've got a good mold of kind of where everybody fits right now. And I'm excited to come back and to join the group and bring some new energy whenever that is.
Hey guys, when Hyman comes back, where do you see him playing? Well, if it's me, I'm going to play him with McDavid right off the hop. It's not like the wingers there have been absolutely murdering it. So I'm going to, that's what I'm going to lean on. So I don't know. What about you, Cons? What would you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think physically he's going to be good to go. I put him right there with Connor McDavid. That's where he should be. Provide that scoring punch. I know last night we saw the 5 goals in the second period, but you're always going to want more of that. And I think that can, slide guys down into spots maybe they're better suited for. For me, you don't lose your spot to injury. I'm going to put him right back there with Connor McDavid.
All right. That's fair. So who are you taking? Are you putting Nugent Hopkins down or are you putting Mangiapane down?
Ooh, starting, I'll go Mangiapane down.
Mangiapane down.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're not touching the Draisaitl or Roslovic Podkolzin line. So then that means
not at this moment.
You've got Frederick, Savoy, and Henrique on your third line. Who you bumping down from there?
Frederick, Savoy, Henrique. Yeah, it gets a little tougher there.
Yeah, like I might depend how they play. I might leave him there because, I don't think you can have Mangiapane and Savoy in the same line. I just, it's 2 pretty small wingers. So
I might say, ask me in a week.
Yeah, like Henrique and Henrique's played really well here as of late. Him and Frederick seem to have something going a little bit. So that's good. You could easily just move Nugent Hopkins there if you wanted. I know that the challenge is then Matt Savoy's not in your top 9. I don't think that's ideal for the team. So it'll be interesting. But again, that's 4 games away. Lots can happen in 4 games. Maybe someone else unfortunately gets banged up. We'll see. But to me, I'm putting Hyman right into the fire when he comes back. He's comfortable playing with McDavid. I don't think his style of game is going to change very much at all. And I think he slots in there the best. And then I'll figure it out. I still think Nuge is best as a third line center, but he's playing really well right now. He's being their most consistent forward to start this season. No question about that. 240 when we return, the rehab for Hyman. They say it looks good, but ensuring you do it right. And what are the challenges? We'll discuss it next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Whoa, who turned off all the lights?
Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice.
Charcoal menu?
Introducing the Eclipse Smoothie, Blackout Booster Mixer, and Midnight Booster Ball.
Where's that voice coming from?
Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal.
Can we please turn the lights back on?
Sorry, I'm just excited about the new charcoal menu.
Wow, that is good.
Right?
Available now, only at Booster Juice.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Carve out for a cause at the Jason Gregor Pizza Pig Out, presented by GS Construction. Thursday, November 6th at the Canadian Ice House, indulge in unlimited pizza from amazing local pizzerias while you help raise some dough for kids' sport. Then vote for your favorite slice to help crown the People's Choice Award winners. Tickets to join Edmonton's biggest and best adult pizza party are just $30. Head to jasongregorpizzapigout.com for more details and to buy tickets.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Strudley. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters, you can attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Fernando Pisani, Kelly Buckberger, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. There's still time to get in on every hockey fan's dream cruise. Book now and save $500 per couple. The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Groceries, mortgage payments, family holidays, a new car. That's what profit shares look like for Vision Credit Union members. Each year, we return about 75% of our profits, $35 million last year, to bank. At Vision Credit Union, when you're an owner, you get your share. Why not get yours? Learn how at whatsyourshare.ca. That's whatsyourshare.ca.
I need somebody, not just anybody. You know, I need someone. When I was younger, so much younger than today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$2:45. Welcome back. Gregor Halley, Sports 1440. Hey, you know that the team's in a loose mood when one of your starting pitchers, who is not pitching tonight, but will be pitching on Friday night, Kevin Gausman, Magic Johnson tweeted out earlier today. Here's his exact tweet. With the series being 2-2, Game 5 is very important. Whichever team wins takes control of the series. Exclamation point. And Gausman, you know Mugatu? When Will Ferrell's playing Mugatu, and it was like, he's absolutely right. And that's the meme he used. I always laugh at Mugatu just because of his hairstyle in that movie, Cons. Oh my God, so funny. But I love that they use like an LA guy in Will Ferrell in that one. He's absolutely right. Yes. And Magic, hey, great guy, loves the sports and everything. But hey, guess what? Game 5 is very important. Whichever team wins takes control of the series. What? Didn't know that. Thanks. Oh, it was a classic.
11 years ago, Magic tweeted, the only way San Antonio or Miami don't win a championship is if neither makes the finals. Some good insight from this guy.
Oh, that's awesome. If it neither makes the finals. I love it. 2:46. Let's get to our injury report now, brought to you by Leading Edge Physio, weekend warriors, professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the guard-tator. Rotator cuffs, tendonitis, post-surgical knees, and hips, they fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com as Grant Bedorica joins us once again. Grant, how you doing, man?
Good. Maybe I should rename myself to Captain Obvious too, and I'll just start throwing out some facts as well. The only way Zach Hyman doesn't come back to play hockey is if he doesn't lace up his skates again.
Yeah, good one. Hey, we heard from Hyman, and he's not going. He was first eligible this Saturday, but he's not going to be out at least another week. Now, he had a dislocated wrist, and I know when I talked to you, like, man, when I saw him, you're like, it didn't look good right off impact. Most people thought, geez, it kind of looked harmless, but all the ligaments were also damaged in that injury, Grant, and that in itself seems to be the harder rehab. Kind of take us through the rehab and why this wrist rehabilitation off the ligaments is so challenging.
Well, first of all, you don't dislocate anything without damaging ligaments. I mean, the ligaments are what are holding the bones together, essentially. So for a bone or a group of bones, like in the wrist, to dislodge from their position, which is a dislocation, then there'll be significant wrist ligament issues. And we're talking third-degree tears through some of the ligaments. These are little tiny ligaments that play a massive, important role in the stability of the wrist. And I think people need to understand the importance. I think anybody who's held a hockey stick or has tried to do finite movements, small movements with their hands or wrists, realize how important it is to have full mobility, pain-free mobility, and that it comes at a cost when you've got issues with the ligaments, which are supposed to provide stability. So with the surgery, with the things that are done to provide, obviously fixate some of those bones and deal with the ligaments that were torn, he's going to have a considerable rehab to regain mobility back, because particularly after the immobilization period where they want it to kind of get stiff and they want the stability of the wrist, now you've got to regain that mobility. So there's all kinds of things that he'd be dealing with. And now we're into the stage where I think if anybody who's gone through a rehab will understand that last stage is really about the like performance characteristics of his wrist. Can he get it into the positions he needs to? Can he get his hand and speed too? Like we're not talking just being able to get his wrist into full extension and we talk about ulnar, these different motions of the wrist. It doesn't just go up and down and side to side. It needs to combine those motions in order to take a proper wrist shot, even to stick handle, and to get into those positions without pain and do it at a high pace and perform without pain. That's where he's at right now. So they're putting him through his paces, I'm sure, and until he's comfortable, 100% comfortable at speed, he's probably not going to be back out on the ice.
And so with the wrist stability, Grant, obviously in hockey, it's super important, right? Like there's lots of sticking and slashing around your wrist. There's lots of torque and tension on your wrist getting hit, absorbing a hit. Are there ways to test it to know? Like, because people, hey, I feel good, but I don't feel good enough to play yet. Like, what's the final determining factor when you get a green light?
Okay, yeah. So there's a few things to unpack there. Yes, there are ways to test the stability of the joints. We do passive testing on the actual ligaments themselves and isolating that ligament. And basically, we can stabilize two different bones and move them one on another in order to test the stability of that ligament. Often, pain is one of the guiding characteristics. The patient will tell you pain, but there's also what we call end feel, like how much movement should there be and how much are we feeling back. So that's from our perspective. Then there's the patient and functional motion and functional movement screens. Can we put them into positions that are awkward and unusual? Can we do that at high speed? And then what are they feeling? And oftentimes these athletes at this level, they'll tell you right down to, I am good except for exactly in this movement when I do exactly this. And oftentimes that's what we're trying to achieve early in the season. Let's go for 110, no such thing, but let's go for full and, unimpeded return to sport before he does go back and puts that wrist at any risk of further injury. So those are really important. I would say, the benchmark is comparing to the other side. We've got two wrists. So his team of orthopedists and stuff are comparing to the other side, but then he's getting out on the ice, I'm sure at this point, and putting it through its paces. Speed is the name of the game with these athletes, though. Speed and strength and the combination of their ability to perform all go hand in hand, pardon the pun. So it's not a simple recovery in the wrist. It's a complicated joint. It's not a joint. It's multiple joints. The carpal bones are a group of bones that all need to be able to move in the right directions at the right times in order for him to perform.
So with that being said, then you got to make sure that everything's mobile around, like in your forearm and everything else, because it's like, the old adage, the knee bone's connected to this bone. So because I'm assuming that everything maybe tightens up or gets a little bit weaker while you're rehabbing.
Yeah, Jason, you're almost a physio these days. A lot of our young physios don't even catch this sometimes. So the wrist, in order to strengthen your biceps, triceps, and even the shoulder to some extent, you have to have some function through the hand and wrist in order to do it. There are ways for him to maintain the strength in his biceps, triceps, and such, taking the wrist out of account, like using wrist cuff strengthening and stuff like that. But that being said, everything atrophies. You get weakness through the entire upper limb when the wrist is gone. The further down you go, the more you're going to have. Like if you injure your shoulder, you can keep your elbow and wrist strength. But if you injure your wrist, you're going to have a tough time keeping your elbow and shoulder strength.
Grant Fedoruk joins us here on Sports 1440. Grant, another one, of course, big topic. Of course, the World Series is ongoing right now. And George Springer in Game 3 swung hard and felt something oblique on the side, and they said he was okay to pinch hit, but obviously I don't think there would have had to be in a miracle situation to do it. That's probably something like he's only DHing anyway. He's not playing field, but there's so much force and torque to go into it when you swing at the major league level. And especially when you swing and miss sometimes, maybe it's even more. What type of things do you think they're going to do just to have him where he can swing? Like, do you freeze it? What do you do there? Because I don't think you can suddenly in 24 hours or 48 hours really heal any sort of oblique discomfort.
Yeah, and the baseball swing, I mean, in order for them to coordinate the timing of hitting a ball at speed that's moving in who knows what direction with force and the centrifugal, speed that they need to connect with that ball, it's incredible, actually. If you look at the fundamentals and the biomechanics of a swing, it is mind-blowing, actually, what they can do. Take into effect now any little amount of discomfort, a twinge, a grimace, a fear of initiating the movement, and now you're going to try to hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. I got to tell you, it's when I saw that, I kind of went, ooh. So it really depends on the stage or the actual injury that he sustained. If it is an oblique, it's going to be a tough recovery. It's going to be a tough comeback. Yes, at that level, I would say they are using things that I wouldn't recommend an amateur athlete do, like freeze the area and the tissue, because you for sure at risk of doing more damage to a tissue that's already damaged and putting it through those kind of forces where your body doesn't feel pain. That's obviously a major risk. But I mean, at this stage of the World Series, yeah, like what athlete's not going to take that chance and put themselves in the best position in order to hit the ball? So I got to tell you, if we're unpacking the baseball swing, we need more than a few minutes to discuss it. I got to tell you, he's going to have a tough time coming back from that one if he's got a significant strain to his oblique. It could have been one of the muscles of the upper back. The best case scenario is he's got a facet joint, like one of the little joints in the spine that's just not moving very well for him at that moment, and he got an acute spasm as a result of that. That is something that can be dealt with in a fairly short fashion. That's best case scenario, but based on the way he was reacting, I don't think that's what happened.
And Grant, another guy who's playing injured is Bo Bichette. And we see it like when he's running, he's not running. He's not trying to, like, he hit a double yesterday, the clear double. He only runs to first base, right? So he's clear. He's able to swing, and he's even able to play a little bit of defense for some innings in this series, and which was remarkable in itself. But you look and just how much a guy is limited, yet he's still able to put in good swings at the plate, because you need your whole body to swing properly.
Yeah, and not only do you need your whole body to swing, it's timing and I would say, like we talk about proprioception, Jason, you've got a better understanding of it, as I've been telling you. It's the ability to know what every single thing in your joint is doing without, they're not looking at their arm as they're extended. They're watching a ball come at them. They're actually watching the ball leave the pitcher's hand, and they have an idea of where that ball is going to be as it's leaving the hand. They probably know if it's a breaking ball or a fastball. So they're not paying attention at all to their swing mechanics. It is so automatic at that stage that if they've got something off a little bit, it's going to impact them. There's no question about it. These guys are Ironmen, though. And I would argue that they've probably played so long and done this so much that they're somewhat accustomed to still being able to perform and deliver a proper swing, even in the presence of some. You and I got to tell you, we feel a twinge and we're not going for that ball. They do. They probably have trained themselves to be able to still make contact, maybe not exactly like they were. But it's mind-blowing to watch this series right now and what they've done to their bodies. 18 innings, man. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
These guys look like they could barely hold the bat up at the end there.
Yeah, no, it is wild. Grant Fedoruk joins us from Leading Edge Physio in our injury report. One last one, Grant, because I've seen it a lot. At U15, body contact is now where players learn to hit. And I'm a big believer, if it was me and I was the president of Hockey Alberta, instead of having 3 years of U18, I would have 3 years at U15. And the first year, like all the 13-year-olds, they would learn body contact together. And then the 14 and 15-year-olds, and then if you wanted to play major, minor, however you want to do it, that's what I would do. Because the one thing, broken collarbones, and dislocated / separated shoulders are very prevalent in first and even second year players when they're learning body contact. I know their body's growing, so that takes a part in it. So my question is, I know it's not 100% preventable, but are there activities and things that parents, coaches, associations should be doing for young boys 13 and 14, that first year and second year of contact, to help hopefully try to reduce the amount of broken collarbones and separated and dislocated shoulders?
Yeah, like let me start by saying I agree with you on that, Jason. I think that's would be a very smart move to move up that third year and have the extra year of training and preparing the body. There's no doubt that shoulder and upper extremity injuries are the vast majority at that age. I think the statistic I saw was something like 50% of upper extremity injuries are the AC joint, which is that joint where your acromion, your shoulder blade, meets your collarbone. And then the next is fractured collarbones. Those are the two top injuries that you're going to see. So, as far as parents listening to the show, we have done a great job as a profession in prehab kind of a thing, or getting ahead of injuries for soccer and lower extremity sports, like prevention of ACLs by doing specific type drills, training, strengthening, proprioception, balance drills for the knee. I think that there's a huge area that could be played for, a big area in the area of shoulder prehab, giving people that same proprioception, these kids the strength in the upper body, particularly around the rotator cuff and the stabilizers of the shoulder, much like the knee. So I do think that there is a role to be played by somebody. Maybe it's us, but definitely those kind of programs, get your kids involved. It's not just strengthening. It's not just dry land training and going and, doing upper extremity strengthening. It's actually getting good neuromuscular control and coordination of the shoulder. That's strengthening specific little muscles around the shoulder, like the rotator cuff. And more important than just the rotator cuff, actually teaching how the shoulder moves properly with there's these muscles, these neuromuscular control muscles, basically, that stabilize your shoulder blade, kind of like core stability for the shoulder that we do with patients that have AC injuries and rotator cuff injuries. And there is definitely a role for these to be done, and this kind of exercise program to be done with athletes at that age group. Very safe and a smart thing to be doing. I love the question because, quite frankly, I don't know why it hasn't dawned on me before.
Yeah, no, it is something. I think that, we're always looking to change things, and it makes sense. Like, I think a lot of people in Alberta don't realize, like, in a lot of places east, they have 1 year. Everybody's 1 year. That's their whole birth year. That's what they play. And I know the argument is, wow, we don't have enough population. I'm like, have you been to Northern Ontario? They figure it out. They find ways to do it. So
and I would say also for parents, making sure that that the coaches are teaching proper checking techniques, and that's delivering and taking. So it's just as much the player who's initiating the hit that it can often have the injury to them. So just because you're initiating it doesn't mean that you're not the one that's going to end up injury. So those stabilizers, and then obviously the equipment, I think that it's a huge role to play for parents to pay attention, teaching their kids, make sure that they're not wearing those shoulder pads loose, that they are properly positioned, that they're the right size. And so they can reduce the risk of injury, they're not going to eliminate it. It's a high-speed sport. By the way, parents, most of these injuries don't happen in practice. They happen at speed in a game. So same thing when they're training to properly deliver or take a hit, they have to start to practice and be aware that it's different from a practice to a game because it's happening at speed. So if you got kids that are in this sport, one, be prepared for these injuries to happen and make sure you rehab them properly so they're not a problem down the road. And number two, make sure that their coaches are teaching proper technique, and that's delivering and taking a hit. So make sure they're not, and I would say the number one thing, and I still see it with kids turning their backs at the last second, and it's just a bad idea. You're going to be prepared to take the hit, know it's coming, protect the puck and stand there and be ready for it. Don't turn your back, which just ends up with catastrophic injuries time and time again, with shoulders going into the boards the wrong way.
Yes, very true. Grant, awesome stuff, buddy. Great to catch up with you, man. Enjoy the game tonight.
Jeez, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I can't do another 18 innings though. I got to tell you.
But that was a tough one, especially at a 6:30 practice on Tuesday. It's tough.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
All right. See you, Jason.
There you go. That's Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physio. I just think it's something that I would look at if I was Hockey Alberta. I don't see that. If anyone can explain to me why that's a negative, right? Well, like why? We've got the 3 years, so why not just put the 3 years for the first year of contact, and all the first years can play together? And please don't tell him, "Wow, my first year, he's just so good. It's going to stifle his career if he doesn't play against second-year players." I don't think so. Hockey's still a late developing sport. He'll be fine. You know what derails their career more than anything else? Injuries. The number one derailer of careers in sports. Let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They will not derail the heat in your home. They will help it. Guess what? Sometimes your furnace just needs a little TLC. Make sure that your furnace gets a good cleaning. LegacyHeating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game 5 of the World Series goes tonight down in Los Angeles. First pitch just after 6 o'clock. Trey Savage gets the call for the Jays. Snell for the Dodgers. We have that one for you right here on Sports 1440 radio feed only on the ice. Just one game at the NHL level. Jackets and Leafs at 5:30 off the ice. Utah Mammoth and forward Logan Cooley agreeing to a contract extension, 8 years with an AAV of $10 million. Cooley has 53 goals and 68 assists in 168 games in his NHL career. In the WHL, the Oil Kings in Lethbridge taking the Hurricanes. Puck drop in that one set for 7. The Toronto Raptors are in action, hosting the Houston Rockets. That one will start at 4:30. The Edmonton Elks have locked the key piece of their secondary today, signing defensive back Tyler Ford through the 2027 season. Ford appeared in all 18 games of the Elks last season, recording 56 tackles and 2 interceptions. And south of the border, the New York Jets have acquired wideout John Mechie and a 2027 sixth-round pick from the Eagles for cornerback Michael Carter II and a 7th-round pick. Canadian Mechie had 4 receptions in 18 games in 7 seasons with Philly so far. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear Cam Pate's 2-minute warning, be joined by Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM, and ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice. EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
Thanks, man.
To where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking. Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service. Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project. Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Want some good news? St. Albert Dodge is holding the biggest sale of the year on their in-stock Ram 1500 Sports. Every single one on the lot is discounted by a whopping $14,000. Yeah, 14 grand. And St. Albert Dodge has the best selection in Alberta. Over 90 Ram 1500 Sports to choose from, with great packages, including the Night Edition and GT models, all $14,000 off the ticket price. Get down there and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Mr. Rooter meets a ghost. 1 plum, 2, and 3.
Day afternoon. How are you?
Ghost?
And
Man,
welcome.
I love plumbing. You're free to
Welcome.
I'll never find peace. The clog is fixed, yes, but I have never trusted the sump pump.
And the Dodgers.
Woo!
What do you
think? That? Now go to the light, you little scamp. Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
Welcome back.
Unfinished plumbing business. Trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Get ready, Edmonton. Glow Christmas Festival returns to light up the Edmonton Expo Center from December 4th to 31st with dazzling activities for the entire family. Wander the glowing trails, meet Santa in his sleigh, and shop from over 30 local artisans and vendors with handcrafted gifts and holiday treasures, perfect for everyone on your list. Get your tickets and learn more about what's on this season by visiting the calendar of events at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk, family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, just after 3 o'clock, Sports 1440. I just out of nowhere. Mike Rupp shows up on our TV screen here in studio, and he's got this huge stash. Oh, I can't wait for the rundown on Friday. Where did that come from? I love it. Oh, it's great. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And we're on a little bit of a roll at PlayAlberta.ca. We do our pick of the day. And yesterday I went, hey, Utah and Edmonton. The over was the one for me all day long. And with both teams, especially Utah had scored a lot, but they'd given up a lot. And the Oilers hadn't given up that much, but still, 6.5. Thought it was a pretty good opportunity. You look at, probably have to look at some NBA right now. And I know the NBA is kind of in the back of a lot of people's minds right now. I understand it. You got the World Series, you got hockey, whatever else. But my goodness, it is super early on. But Wembanyama and what he's done in his first few games, ridiculous. The guy is literally scoring a point per minute. Wild. Absolutely wild. And he's the biggest difference is he's not shooting a 3-ball. But last year, 47% of his field goal attempts came from beyond the arc. He's at 11 this year. So he's changed his game, and teams can't score. That guy is a blocking machine. If he's a freak. We look at Ohtani, and Ohtani's a freak in baseball right now. You look at Wembanyama and what he's doing early on in basketball. It's only his third season. Oh my goodness. Once this guy really figures it out, and obviously last year, unfortunately, due to the heart issues, and he was out. But I'm telling you that if you're ever to watch a game, Cons, have you watched any of the Spurs this year?
Yeah, he's a freak in the kindest way. You watch him control the ball too, slow motion, the crossovers he's doing. The only thing that can stop him is injury, I think. And like you said, he's doing this with not even the full entirety of his career under his belt because he missed so much time with the condition last year. He's unbelievable. That's why he was my shot for an MVP, because when he's out there, and trust me, Declan tells me it all the time too. So it's not just me thinking it. He's crazy. It's fun to watch him, and he just you look at him and he's just, how does he move that well? It's wild.
Yeah, and it's super early on, but man, OKC looks really good. They have dominated all 5 of their games. The Spurs look pretty good as well. And then you've got the Rockets are, the Rockets playing the Raptors tonight, and Raptors are 1-3, not a great start. They won their first one. Now they've lost 3 straight, and Houston's underperformed a little bit. And you watch the highlights, and you can't watch all the sports. It's my job, and I can't watch all the sports. So, I haven't watched much full NBA games, but man, I've been watching you can go online, you can go on YouTube, and you can find 12, 20-minute recaps of games for different teams. And my goodness, watching women, like it's unlike anything I've seen before because he's so big and he's so long and he's so mobile. It's just wild. It's like when McDavid first started, hockey fans like, we haven't seen a guy skate this fast with the puck. Although Pavel Bure, his was more at certain times. He was super explosive, but we've never really seen anybody like McDavid. And what Wembanyama is doing in the NBA right now is pretty spectacular to watch. So is OKC, though. The Thunder, led by the Canadians, are looking very, very good. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can always text us on our email inbox. Is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. If you missed it, Zach Hyman will not return on Saturday. It's going to be another week at least. So he won't play Saturday. Then the Oilers have a brief 2-game road trip in Dallas and St. Louis next Monday and Tuesday. Then they have 3 days off, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then they are home for 2 games. Colorado on Saturday the 10th, Columbus on the Monday, and then they head out on a 7-game road trip. So when you look at the Oilers' upcoming schedule, getting some wins here on home ice. Last night was a good start to this 3-game homestand. They'd like to continue it against the Rangers on Thursday, and then you have the Chicago Blackhawks who come to town on Saturday. Hey, Gregor, what did you think of Skinner on the first 2 goals? Obviously, the third goal, I think, is probably an unlucky bounce more than anything else. But what do you think of his play on the first 2 goals? Well, the Cooley was a high danger, high slot play, unsettled offense. Like and it's off the post and in. Like, I get people get upset. Like, you think the goal is supposed to make every damn save? I didn't have a problem with that one. Now, the JJ Peterka comes down, and that is a great shot. Sometimes you look and say, okay, like, great shot. It's not a bad, like, oh my God, he got beat, right? Sometimes you're going to get beat. I didn't view that as a bad goal by any stretch of the imagination, right? If you look at the expected goals in that game were 2, right? Obviously, the third goal is what changed it. But other than that, Skinner was fine. It would have been an unreal save, I think, to on either one. But like, sometimes you just tip your hat and say, great shot. Right? You got some shooters with time, great shot. And I'll ask you, do you think Skinner was better than the other goalie? Because if Skinner kicks out 2 rebounds that go to Emberson and Draisaitl, the same people are freaking out. So I look and say, Skinner wasn't out of this world last night. And the third goal will basically put him at -1 in goals saved above expected. Now, anybody looks at it and says, okay, it bounced over a stick behind the net. Now, would you like the goalie maybe get his body in there? Probably. Little bit unlucky. I'd still like to see it happen, but I didn't have an issue with the first 2 at all. And then, you know what I like, though? After the third goal, no. It was 3-2. He didn't allow another goal. He made some key saves. Rob Peterka right on the doorstep once. Made another good save on the breakaway. So at that point, you're like, hey, he made some. He made the saves he needed to make afterwards. But sometimes you're going to allow a goal you don't like the third goal, for sure. Didn't like it. Hey, Gregor, you mentioned, do you know where Skinner ranks amongst the averages in the league? Well, yes, I do. Because I think some people at times, like, they forget that there's other goalies in the NHL. And, you're so focused on your team, as you should be. It's not your job. It's not your job. It's my job to give you the information around the league. And so I like to look and say, okay, let's look at goalies who have started. Goalies who have started 6 games. Because to me, if you've started 6 games right now, you're pretty much a starting goalie on your team. And if you look at it, there's 30 goalies who have done that, right? And so now, even if you want to go to 5 games, because some teams have a little bit of a split, let's just even go to goalies who have played 5 games. All right, and actually started 5 games. I don't want to do anything. So you look at that. There's 35 goalies who have done that, and out of those 35 goalies, Stuart Skinner's 16th in save percentage. You know what the league average is? He's above league average. League average right now, it's early in the season, is 895. He's at 898. He's ahead of Darcy Kemper. He's ahead of Vasilevsky. He's ahead of Freddie Anderson. He's ahead of Vejmelka. He's ahead of Philip Gustafsson. He's ahead of Aiden Hill. He's ahead of Dustin Wolf. He's ahead of Stolars. He's ahead of Jeremy Swayman. He's ahead of John Gibson. He's ahead of Sorokin and Binnington and Linus Ullmark and Sam Montembeault. Now you look at goals against, which at the end of the day, I think is more important than save percentage, and I'll get into that why. In goals against, you look at where Stuart Skinner ranks? 9th at 2.41. Ahead of Ottinger and ahead of Decord and ahead of Hill and Vejmelka and Kemper and Vasilevsky and Dostal and Anderson and Gibson and Binnington and Stolars and Gustafsson and Ullmark and Wolf and Swayman and Sorokin, Montembeault. Like the 8 goalies who have a better goals against right now, Logan Thompson, Jake Allen, Dobich in Montreal, Spencer Knight, Thatcher Demko, Shesterkin, Hellebuck, and Bobrovsky. All right. Like, yeah. And Stuart Skinner, when you look at some of the goals, like behind the net, it bounces over a stick. Now, but I've maybe like to get your body behind that, probably. Obviously, we know the first game against Calgary. But other than that, like, I don't know what people's expectations are. Like, have realistic expectations. Are you expecting, like, you're like, I don't think Stuart Skinner's got good, but I'm going to get so mad that he's not top 5 in goals against average. It's not like the Oilers have the best defensive system so far through 11 games. He's been okay. They won 6-3 last night. His play was really a non-factor in the game. The first period, the Oilers had 16 turnovers at the offensive blue line. 16. And you guys are worrying about the 2 goals? I find sometimes people worry about the wrong thing. I'm like, are you watching the game? The Oilers were a pastry chef at the blue line. Oh, here's another giveaway. Here's another giveaway. The coach talked about it. The players talked about it. Those 2 goals, I had no issue from the goaltender there. Neither one's considered a bad goal for me. And, I text Kevin Woodley about it because, he looks at the expected goals. And this is what Woodley's response was. I want to read it. It's on my phone. He says, you have to remember that sometimes it's not about how he played. It's a great shooter who made a great shot, and the numbers are based on total shots. Sometimes great ones go in and still get recorded as a mid-range chance, but we know better. So there you go. Even their system because I always ask people, I'm like, you guys chart expected save percentage, but you don't even know the formula, but you chart it. It's like, it's impenetrable. You can never question it, right? Like people still, even though I've said natural stat trick has so many flaws that I don't use it anymore because it's not accurate. It's not close to accurate. So why would I use it? Doesn't make sense. And even the ones that do, Kevin Woodley, and he's a goalie guy. He says, hey, goalie union card. He admits it that, well, it lists it because it's a straight line scoring chance. When a player makes a perfect shot, it's not a bad goal. So I think sometimes there has to be a little bit of common sense to look at it and say, hey, it was good. Hey, Gregor, what do you think about Bouchard's game? It was all right. I know people, hey, it's nice to get assists. Great. I don't think any of those assists were like, oh my God, they're unbelievable. To me, what's more important is he wasn't that's 2 games in a row now. He hasn't been on the ice for a goal against 5-on-5. That's progress. Right? Same with Ekholm. Right? Like as a pairing, that was their best game of the season. They didn't give up a goal. They didn't give up a ton of chances. And they produced some offense. So that's a win. Right? It's not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. But again, I didn't have much of an issue with Evan Bouchard's game last night. Like if you think a player is going to go through the game and never have a turnover, then you probably should turn the TV off. Like there's going to be a turnover. And I think now when Bouchard makes a turnover, people are just waiting. Turnover. Even though he makes like other good plays, they see the turnover and that's all you remember. Right? It's like Skinner. Oh, he got beat. He needs to make that save. Based on what? Like, what are you basing it on? It's an opinion, but you're not backing it up with anything. Like, tell me why he should have made that save on Peterka. Why was that such a savable shot? It was a great shot. Peterka put it in the really smallest window that you could get. So Skinner, hey, the third goal, I didn't like it. I even tweeted about it. So to me, that looks like a little bit of a lack of focus there. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe it's just the puck bounces over your stick and 99 out of 100 times, it's going to stay flat on the ice. It might. But it was just, the timing of the goal, everything. That one's not as bad as the Calgary one for sure, because it literally did bounce over his stick. But I had no issues with it either. To me, I look at the the first goal was the bigger play in the first goal was the giveaway by Nurse. That's the issue, right? And I don't like Draisaitl's read on that play either. Like those are the bigger areas. If you want to break down the goals, then it's at least look at the culprits on the goal, right? I didn't like Nurse. I didn't like Draisaitl on the first goal. Sure. Let's take a quick break. Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM will join us. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace replacement company for zombie hunters. Those who know their old decrepit furnace passed away years ago. Its decaying husk shuffling around now as the furnace. Legacy Heating will send your undead furnace to its grave, replacing it with no payments and no interest for 1 year. Protect your legacy from the beast in the basement. It's time to destroy the furnace of the dead. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
When pumpkins glow and night turns chill, there's one fall treat that fits the bill. A pizza shaped like a jack-o'-lantern with smiling pepperoni pattern. Thin golden crust, so cheesy and tasty. Get yours now, better be hasty. It's only around for a limited time for a spooktacular price, $17.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, yes, it's true. Papa John's Jack-o'-lantern Pizza is coming for you. Spookily and proudly locally owned and operated.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Are you looking for safe and professional transportation solutions for your group events and sports teams? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
When it comes to sports in Edmonton, Jason Gregor is a must-listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Gregor rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
Fall in the savings at Wolf GMC Buick. For a very limited time, get 0% on every 2025 Buick and GMC, including the all-new Buick Envista, the Encore, Envision, and Enclave. For the GMCs, 0% on 2025s like the Sierra Half-Ton, Sierra HD, even the Yukons. Get 0% on all 2025s. Plus, get up to 84 months on the GMC Sierra Half-Ton Crew Cab. But like the Leafs, these deals won't last long. Get into Wolf GMC Buick now. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
I took my troubles down to Malibu. You know that gypsy with the gold cap too. She's got
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the Gregor special. Enjoy 20% off any regular menu price order when you enter promo code Gregor at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
Hat-tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.327. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks so much for listening, watching. Be sure to hit the subscribe button at Sports 1440 on YouTube. I'd have to do a contest there to get a few more subscriptions. I know many of you like some tickets to the orders, so maybe we'll do that for for a Friday night game. Who doesn't like a Friday night Oiler game? We'll see. Let's go around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's. And you have about just under 2 weeks left to play one of your favorite games, Monopoly, where you can win all sorts of great prizes. And you got 2 chances. Peel when you're there, and then go on the app. You can peel again. You can peel like a winner. Only at McDonald's. This is Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. Joins us once again. Davey, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Jason? I'm good.
Oh, lots is happening, man. It was a busy night in the NHL. Last night, third most goals scored in one day in NHL history. Of course, there's more teams, so that's you got to take that with a grain of salt. Also, a big win for the Jays in the World Series. Are you a baseball guy? Now you live in Toronto, so I'm assuming it's impossible to not be caught up in it somewhat.
Oh man, I'm invested. I honestly did not watch a lot during the regular season, certainly in the first half. And then I checked in every now and again in the second half when it became clear that somehow they're good. But yeah, playoff time, I have actively been trying to find ways to watch the game, even when I'm at work covering hockey. And then we were able to, get a few people together after the game last night, 6:00 start, which was ideal local time. And we caught the last 3-4 innings of the game. And just as they were pulling away, everybody was hooting and hollering. It was one of those nights that you'll remember for quite some time because they don't come around very often. So yeah, it's been pretty entertaining. I can't wait for tonight's game.
Yeah, well, it'd be wild for sure. Want to get your thoughts on it's early on in the season, but the Celebrini and Bedard are both off to good starts.
Yeah.
I don't see room for both of them on Team Canada, but do you think Team Canada brings one just for the experience, thinking that it's kind of a lock that they'll be on the Olympic team 4 years down the road? Or is it even necessary?
Yeah, I don't know how necessary it is to give them a taste of the experience. I think these guys are good players. And 4 years down the line, they're going to be even better than they are right now. They're going to be in the primes of their career. So you think the fact that they don't take them this year, 4 years down the line, they're going to be like, man, if only we had gone 4 years ago, we would have had an idea of what to expect. Remember, in 2006, Team Canada did not take Sidney Crosby to those Olympic Games. Probably a mistake in hindsight. Yes. In 2010, it did not seem to hold him back all that much, his absence 4 years prior. He had the golden goal. So I think, if you see a path for one of them to be a contributor on the team, then I think Doug Armstrong and company have to evaluate that and give that proper attention. But if you're bringing one of them just to bring them so that they're along for the ride, and my understanding is they don't even have a true Olympic village this year, so you're not even getting really that experience. That to me doesn't make a lot of sense. But I think you can make a legitimate case, Jason, the way the first 3 weeks of the season have gone, how both guys have played, that they could be on the team because they have really been that good, and they look like dramatically better players than they were even a year ago.
Yeah, they're very different players and have different skill sets, and I'm kind of interested to see how it plays out. I think a lot of people think Celebrini might be the better all-around player, but Bedard's definitely the better shooter at this stage, and we'll see kind of where it goes. Are you buying at all Montreal or Detroit?
Montreal, I am. I really like their team. I mean, they're entertaining. We'll put it that way. They can score. And so at this time of the year, can you outscore some problems? If that is the strength of your team, probably yes. They will need to improve in the defensive area of the game. I think they're lacking there to an extent because they're winning a lot of games that they kind of remind me of the Leafs from 2017-18 era, where they were young, they could score, they were causing head coaches to lose their mind because they didn't really show all that much interest in defending, and as a result, they lost the first round every year. But they got to the playoffs, and man, they were entertaining. So that's what Montreal reminds me of right now. But those are the pieces that I'd want to have on a team, and then try to round it out around the edges. You can't show me a defensively cognizant bunch that cannot score and say this team is on their way to a Stanley Cup championship at some point. That type of talent is just too hard to accumulate. I'd rather have a group that has all kinds of skill and then try to pound that into them. The importance of playing well without the puck, and then if need be, acquire some guys that can add some physicality, some size, some nastiness, some reliability to your lineup. I think Montreal is headed in that direction. And you look at the way their cap structure is, Jason. You look at Nick Suzuki. You look at Cole Caulfield. You look at Lane Hudson. You look at Juraj Slavkovsky. Like, there's just 4 guys right there that within a few years, you could argue are making each individually $7 million too little. So you're looking at like an extra 28 to 30 million bucks potentially, while these guys are still under contract and in their primes, to build out your team. They're in a brilliant position right now in Montreal with the guys that they have locked up, the skill set they have, and the flexibility that they're going to have down the road. As for Detroit, I need to see more. I didn't expect them to be good coming into the year. They've been better than expected to this point, but I don't look at them the same way I look at Montreal. We need to revisit Detroit, in my mind, around American Thanksgiving.
Well, yeah, no, I would agree wholeheartedly on that. Montreal, I'm still like, I've looked at their schedule. They played a lot of non-playoff teams from last year. It's not their fault, but so they haven't had a little bit of a tough sked yet, and you got to take advantage of it. And that's the key. I looked at it all last year, and teams' records against the non-playoff teams pretty dominant. And then you're kind of 2 or sometimes 500, 2 or 3 games above 500 against the other playoff teams, and that makes you a playoff team. So Montreal is doing what they should do, and that's beating the teams below them in the standings, no question. Logan Cooley, we saw him in Edmonton last night. The guy can fly. He is really quick. He's got 8 goals on the season. Utah has 8 wins. They suffered their first loss after winning 7 in a row to the Edmonton Oilers. And, I watched that game, and I see, hey, Edmonton's obviously got elite talent. Utah's got some really good young talented players, but they are still a team that's a little bit learning how to play defense. I talked to their GM on my show on Monday, and then talked to him in the press box, and he's kind of like, a little sloppy at times. And that's kind of where they're at as a team, but they're exciting. And what do you make of Logan Cooley's new contract extension with the Mammoth?
Well, I like Logan Cooley. I still can't get out of my mind that goal he scored, I think, a couple of preseasons ago when they were still the Coyotes and they went down to Australia, and he scored some goal that was just bonkers. And I'm like, this cat could be something else. And he's steadily improved, and he's a big part of their team. So, like any deal that you sign out of entry level at big money, to an extent, you're placing a bet as the team on the guy, and you hope that he at minimum matches the bet, if not exceeds it. And I think that's what Utah has done with Logan Cooley. I think he's got the skill set to be a significant contributor on their team. And so they've signed him 8 years, $10 million, and say, hopefully, as the cap continues to go up, that'll look better. But I think it's a good bet to place because we've seen progression from him this year. Sure, like any young player, like a collection of young players, just like we talked about in Montreal, convincing them to play with as much excitement when they don't have the puck compared to when they do is a process at times. But much like Montreal, I like the collection of talent that they've put together in Utah, and it's starting to bear fruit. They've taken a step. Their season is not over 3-4 weeks into the year. They've strung some wins together. Now they feel like a good team. And now when you're in a good position, then I think it gives the coach a good opportunity to say, okay, look, see what we're doing here is working. And here's how we need to continue to play to get even better. I think that message becomes receptive at that point. So I like Utah. I'm really excited about their group moving forward, and to make a commitment to a guy like Logan Cooley, get him locked up, nice, clean, easy, tidy, not contentious, is a good thing. An indication that the guy wants to be there as well, which is also a good thing for their group. I think Utah is heading in the right direction as well. And we're seeing it already this year. I would look at Utah and say, man, if we aren't sniffing around for a wild card spot, I think it would be disappointing this year if they fall short, because I think they have the ability to get there the way they've played.
Hey, McCarthy from Sirius XM joins us. Davey, it's been very quiet, and likely because there's no teams that are, like I look at the Eastern Conference from dead last, the Islanders, to the playoff spot of the Flyers. It's a 2-point difference.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's no one that's going to be overly upset. Now the Flames are 2-8-1. They just signed their coach to a contract extension, but NHL coaches seem to live on borrowed time. Do you see anybody cropping up in that at all, or is this going to be a year maybe where sanity reigns in the coaching ranks?
Yeah, what was it? Was it 2 or 3 years ago? We went quite a ways into the season before a coach got fired. If I'm not mistaken, there might not have been a coach fired a couple of seasons ago. I don't know, Nashville, like you wonder where they're at. There's disappointment, to be sure. Like they last off season went out and made a number of significant moves, and we all got caught up. I mean, I certainly did. I won't speak for you. I got caught up in it, and they were a profound disappointment last year, and they kind of stuck to their guns and ran it back, expecting that, okay, a lot of change, guys coming from markets where they were ingrained, like Stamkos in Tampa, Marchessault in Vegas, and sometimes they can be a bit of a shock to the system. We'll give it another year, and now it'll come together. Well, I mean, they're not out of it by any stretch, but they're kind of dinking and dunking around to this point through 11 games. Steven Stamkos off to a terrible start. He's got a goal and an assist in 11 games. That's not good. So, do you look at Nashville as a team where do they think maybe the way to go is to change the head coach, and will that give us a boost? Or is the reality sinking in Nashville, which is to say they just might not be a very good team. They might be a collection of guys that are older and have had their better days behind them. Roman Yossi's hurt, which does not help. But, if you force me to pick, Nashville would be the one. I don't think Minnesota is at that point yet, though they have been disappointing. And then beyond that in the East, I don't really see anybody that jumps out at this point. Like Coop isn't going anywhere. Mike Sullivan's not going anywhere in New York. They just signed him. Boston knows they're not very good. I mean, the Islanders, Patrick Waugh, I don't know. I don't think they're at that point yet. So, really, Nashville would be the one at the top of my list, and nobody else would really catch my eye at this point.
Well, Nashville and some of the decisions from their GM have just not been ideal for that team. I think that's completely safe to say at this point. One last one for you on the Seattle Kraken. Myth, or are they better than we think?
Well, I don't think they're quite this good, but what I've seen, and I saw Seattle up close and in person last week, was a collective buy-in from their group of playing the way they need to play in order to have success. They are not a track meet team. They do not have the horses to play that type of game. They need to play a rambunctious, kind of plucky, physical, aggressive, forechecking type style, and commit to that, get good goaltending, which they have gotten, and then get some timely scoring. And they didn't show that enough at times. They didn't really seem to be a team that had a direction last year. They were kind of in between two styles. That never works. I've seen buy-in. I've talked to a few of the guys last week, and that's what I heard. That's what they told me. And that they were quite honestly embarrassed with how last season went. They think they're better than that. So, they've had some things bounce their way. I don't see them as a top 3 team in the Pacific Division. Like, I think before it's said and done, the Edmonton Oilers will get up into the top 3. And then, should LA sniff around? Probably. But, you look at LA, you look at Seattle, you look at Anaheim. Vancouver's been really disappointing again, I think. Those are the teams that I think are going to battle for those 3, 4, 5 spots in the Pacific. And the way Seattle's going right now, I like their team. I like them a little bit better than LA at this point. So are they a myth? No, I don't think they're a myth. But it sounds kind of lame to sit on the fence. I kind of am. They're not as good as they've shown through 10 games either. But I do think they should be a playoff team the way they've started out, because I think they believe in themselves and they're seeing the way they're playing, having success. I think they've got enough of a group of personnel that can sustain that throughout the year. So I do like Seattle. I like what I've seen.
Davey, good to talk to you, buddy. Enjoy the game tonight. There's actually 2 games. There's the Maple Leafs are the only NHL game. Not sure how many fans will be watching that one when you got the Toronto Blue Jays in a pivotal Game 5 against the Dodgers tonight.
Yeah, I can't wait. Trey Savage on the mound. Blake Snell. Man, what a moment. Vladdy going yard off Shohei Ohtani. Dodger Stadium in a World Series. Come on, that was something else.
No, it was.
We were actually in the scrum in the Leaf room getting ready to talk to William Nylander as that home run got hit. And we heard an eruption from the back room where all the guys were watching. One of the photojournalists had his phone on, so we were kind of leaning back and catching the highlight there. And then Willie rolled out. Like, it was just, like I said, those are the moments that you will remember for quite some time. It was pretty damn cool.
Oh, God, yeah. No question about it. Thanks, Davey. We will chat with you next week, buddy, and I'll talk to you Sunday on the brunch.
Right on. See you, bud.
There you go. That's Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger with you. It's 3:45. We got the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate coming up, and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts, and play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksyeg.com.
When pumpkins glow and night turns chill, there's one fall treat that fits the bill. A pizza shaped like a jack-o'-lantern with smiling pepperoni pattern. Thin golden crust, so cheesy and tasty. Get yours now, better be hasty. It's only around for a limited time for a spooktacular price, $17.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, yes, it's true. Papa John's Jack-O'-Lantern Pizza is coming for you. Spookily and proudly locally owned and operated.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Albertans celebrate a bounty of beautiful places to visit, boundless adventures to take, all in driving distance. And Sherwood Honda has the fuel-efficient vehicle that helps you go even further and appreciate more. Hybrid CRVs and Civics mean more thanks in your tanks, more great trips to be grateful for. And of course, Sherwood Honda is thankful for the chance to help you get there. It's a beautiful time of year, and it sure would be nice to hit the road with Sherwood Honda.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on.
Can't touch this.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? By Canadian. Cantork's products not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
.349, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, got a lot of texts. We want to get to those as well. We got the business of sport coming up with Rich Winter, our special guest today, talk about a vastly quickly and changing landscape in NCAA and junior hockey. So we'll talk about that. But first, let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. You can hurry in to save $1,000 off of sofas and sectionals and up to 40% off mattresses and 35% off furniture right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. On a scale of 1 to 10, what are the chances last night's win is a turning point in the Oilers' season?
I don't know. I'm never one to think that one game is, it was a step in the right direction, but it's one game. So I think the Rangers will be a much tougher test defensively for Edmonton. Although the Oilers obviously on home ice have played pretty well, so that's a good sign for them. I would say chances of being a turning point are low, 20%, because I think they're a decent team, and I don't think one game suddenly makes them better.
I'm going to say a 6. I mean, I hope there's hey, guys, 5 goals in a period. This is what we can do. Shots on net, winning battles behind the line. Like those sort of things go a long way. So I'm going to be optimistic a little more so. 6 out of 10 that can be a turning point. Now, following up with that one, who or what was the biggest standout for you in that victory?
I would say, to me, the thing that stood out with most was that it was Bouchard and Ekholm's best game together this year.
I'm going to say just doing the little things, the play Frederick made on one of the goals behind the net to separate player from puck. I think, Jake Wallman jumping up from the blue line to get a shot on it, leading to goals. Seeing those little things pay off for them. I think that's something they can build off of, and that stood out to me. And then also, Stuart Skinner, hey, it was kind of a bad timing to make that mistake to lead to the 3rd goal, but then shutting it down afterwards. I thought that was big. 11 shots faced, 11 saved. In honor of Trey Savage and his rise to fame this season, when you think of those athletes that just kind of come out of nowhere, who comes to mind first?
Go ahead.
I think I got to go with Jim Carey and the Washington Capitals. Like, maybe I was sleeping on him. I was a younger kid, but I just remember all of a sudden, and it was kind of 1 or 2 years, he just popped up, was really good, and then kind of faded away. So Jim Carey would be the one for me.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was definitely very good. I would say it's a good question. Yeah, the pet detective, or the net detective as he was called. Because you're trying to think of guys that you didn't expect, right? Because kind of got to take out any top 5 pick. You're not really expecting that. I'm going to say Jim Abbott. I don't think anybody thought he'd be that good.
I'll also throw out there the D train, Dontrell Willis. Remember him?
Oh,
For
yeah.
the
For
Marlins, was it?
He was
Yeah.
unreal.
It just popped up like, who is this guy? And he was awesome. Question number 4 for you. Aiden Hutchinson got a nice 4-year extension from the Detroit Lions today at $180 million. If we're talking strictly getting to the quarterback, pass rushers, who are your top 3 in the NFL right now?
Wow. None better than the boy in Cleveland right now. He's killing it. So, who else is good? I think I would say I don't know if I have anyone else who's like an obvious standout. Fast, just a pure sacker con.
Just get to the quarterback.
You go with yours. I got to think of it because I can't. Other than Garrett, I don't really have anybody that's jumping off the page to me.
Yeah, Myles Garrett for sure. I mean, that last game, 5 sacks is showing he can still get it done. Don't feel bad for his freakouts on the sideline because he wanted to trade and then just took the money. Nick Bonito with the Denver Broncos for the last couple of years. I think he's been really good at getting to the quarterback. And then, say what you want about him, but Micah Parsons, when healthy, when you need a guy to get there and make a play, I'll put him right in that top 3 as well.
What about Burns?
Been very good. That group with the Giants with Thibodeau and then Abdul Carter, phenomenal. He's been really good his career, but maybe benefits from playing with a really good group.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Still top 5 though.
Yeah. So I'll go just to be different. I'll go with Brian Burns, and I'd like that you're the other guy might and maybe this might be a reach, but I'll go with Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been a good player for the Pack for a while.
Yeah.
Final question for you. Actor Richard Dreyfuss turns 78 years old today. Tons of great movies on his resume. What would be your favorite?
Go ahead.
I mean, it might be a cop-out. And obviously, I haven't seen all his movies, but how do I go away from Jaws? Especially this time of year. I'm definitely going to be watching Jaws before Friday night. So I'll go with Jaws, the classic.
Why? Oh, you're watching it before because it's Halloween?
Yeah, good little scary movie, but not that scary.
Do you watch scary movies all the time?
I love them.
Yeah.
But I don't like watching them alone. And the last little while, I don't know what's changed. Ashley's not as into them as she used to be. So we can't watch the ones that are too scary. And certain subjects now she's not a big fan of. So Jaws kind of falls into that sweet spot.
Okay. Richard Dreyfuss. What wasn't my Opus or something like that? I think that's the one I'm going to go with.
Mr.
Holland's Opus.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
The conductor in that one or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'll go with. So I really liked him in Call of the Wild too, because it's one of my favorite books I've ever read. So as a kid. So quite like that one too. But yeah, Mr. Holland's Opus. Nice. Couldn't remember the name of it off the hop, but that's the one that stood out to me, buddy. Now, didn't he play a role in Stand By Me? He was in there too.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like he was in there, but he wasn't. I like it when he's more significant. So that's what I'll roll with. So
what about Bob getting a lot of love too?
Oh, yeah, that was actually pretty funny. Yes, that was that's pretty good. So I don't mind it at all. Looking at a few things. We got Rich Winter's going to join us coming up here in the Business of Sport. Kurt Hill as well. Oilers, in case you missed it, Zach Hyman is getting closer, but not close enough. He will not play Saturday. That's when he was first game eligible. He's not going to play on the road trip in Dallas and St. Louis. So if you're waiting to see a number 18, you might have to wait at the earliest next Saturday, which is 10 days from now, when the Oilers are home to the Colorado Avalanche. That's probably the earliest you could see him right now. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Hey, quick heads up. It's tire changeover time. And right now at Fountain Tire, you can save up to 15% on select tires. Perfect excuse to get road ready and save a little cash. FountainTire.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Game 5 World Series go tonight from Los Angeles. Dodgers and Jays tied at 2 apiece. First pitch, 6 o'clock. Trey Savage gets the call for the Bluebirds. Dodgers countering with Snell. You can hear it here on Sports 1440 right after the Jason Gregor Show. In the NHL, you got the Jackets taking on Leafs. Puck drop just after 5:30. The Oil Kings on the road in Lethbridge taking on the Hurricanes. That gets going at 7. In the association, the Raptors will host the Rockets. Tip off 4:30. Also, Celtics take on the Cavs. Magic in Detroit Pistons. Mavs up against the Pacers. Pelicans taking on the Nuggets, and the Timberwolves meet the LA Lakers. The Edmonton Elks have locked up a key piece of their secondary, signing Tyrell Ford through the 2027 season. Meanwhile, the New York Jets acquiring Canadian wideout John Mechie and a 7th or 6th round pick in 2027 from the Eagles for cornerback Michael Carter II and a 7th rounder in 2027. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, it's another edition of the Business of Sport with longtime NHL agent Rich Winter, and we'll be joined by Edmonton Oil Kings GM Kurt Hill. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
When you have lifting and material handling needs, Northwest Crane delivers. Western Canada's Sandy dealer, backed by the industry's toughest one. 3 years, 3,000 hours, no compromises. They service all crane makes and models with skilled technicians and deep industry expertise. Alberta owned with locations in Leduc and Grand Prairie and fully equipped service trucks. Northwest Crane keeps your operation lifting. For more information on sales or service, visit northwestcrane.com or call today.
I'm Gene Principe for Legacy Heating and Cooling. If you need a furnace this Halloween, it'd be a grave mistake not to
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Need repair? Revampire your furnace. Just
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Legacy has a skeleton of furnaces in stock.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Plus no interest and no prints of payments for 1 year when you buy with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Bring in the new year with a Canadian country legend. December 31st, in concert at the Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Brett Kissel, she drives me crazy. Multiple CCMA and Juno Award winner, platinum-selling recording artist, and top 10 hitmaker. Celebrate the new year in Alberta, country style. Bring your friends, your cowboy boots, and your party spirit for a night full of hits, celebration, and unforgettable memories. The countdown to 2026 starts with Brett Kissel live on stage. Get your tickets now at silenticecenter.com/events.
Carve out for a cause at the Jason Gregor Pizza Pig Out, presented by GS Construction. Thursday, November 6th at the Canadian Ice House, indulge in unlimited pizza from amazing local pizzerias while you help raise some dough for kids' sport. Then vote for your favorite slice to help crown the People's Choice Award winners. Tickets to join Edmonton's biggest and best adult pizza party are just $30. Head to jasongregorpizzapigout.com for more details and to buy tickets.
Whoa, who turned off all the lights?
Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice.
Charcoal menu?
Introducing the Eclipse Smoothie, Blackout Booster Mixer, and Midnight Booster Ball.
Where's that voice coming from?
Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal.
Can we please turn the lights back on?
Sorry, I'm just excited about the new charcoal menu.
Wow, that is good.
Right? Available now, only at Booster Juice.
Another season is upon us.
40.
That's just out of locker rooms, hockey bags, pumpkin spice lattes, and burnt oil.
Jason Gregor.
Don't let your vehicle get benched this season. Swing by Napa Auto Parts for top quality oils,
Gene
parts,
40,
tools, and everything you need to keep your ride in winning shape for the games ahead. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Groceries, mortgage payments, family holidays, a new car. That's what profit shares look like for Vision Credit Union members. Each year, we return about 75% of our profits, $35 million last year, to the people who bank with us. Because at Vision Credit Union, when you're an owner, you get your share. Why not get yours? Learn how at whatsyourshare.ca. That's whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio from weekend warriors, professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's after 4 o'clock. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Also, Oilers Nation. YouTube, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. We very much appreciate all the feedback. The Elks shut out this year on the CFL Western Conference Awards. A little bit surprised maybe that Rankin did not get a nod at the running back position, but Mills in Calgary had a pretty good year, so they obviously chose him due to his rushing statistics. Now, rushing is one factor, right? And Mills did lead the league in rushing yards with 1,409. Rankin had 1,013, but Rankin had 191 carries. Mills had 250 carries. So their yards per carry were the same. But then if you look at receiving, which is, last I checked, still part of the running back position, and Rankin clearly was better in the receiving spot. Mills had 292 yards, whereas Rankin for the green and gold, he was he ended up third. He had 713, so 500 more. If you look at their combined yards from scrimmage, Rankin's higher. So I think you could have made an argument for Rankin, but it's not anything like I wouldn't. It's not a hill I was willing to die on. In that regards, Mills had a pretty good season, but no question, Rankin's the most explosive guy in the CFL this past season, and I hope that continues next year. Now, let's get to the business of sports as we're joined by a longtime player agent once again, Rich Winter, joining us in studio. Rich, how you doing, Matt?
Good. I don't have a favorite Richard Dreyfuss movie, so I'm out there, but. Yeah, good. Life's good. It's really busy right now.
I'm going to get you to lower your chair a bit. Just lower your chair a bit. A little bit more.
Yeah. Are we?
Yeah, a little bit more.
What do you want?
There we go.
What is it? A superiority thing?
No, but no.
You're talking down to me.
Do you want your full head in the camera, or do you want to have half of it?
It depends which half of the head. I like some parts of my head.
Yeah. Well, not the you don't want the top part cut off, right? So it's not a cartoon character. Is the way to look at it. A few things in the ongoing business world. We just saw like Cooley just signed that huge deal today.
Yeah,
8 years. I think is the third highest contract coming out of entry level. And with the cap going up, certain teams have more cap space. And the Utah owners, I think he's willing to spend it. But I look at it, and I'm not sold as the cap goes up, Rich, that all these teams are going to be spending to the cap. I think by the time the cap gets to 113 and beyond, I think people are going to be surprised at how many teams, like there'll be the big teams, Toronto, and I think Edmonton's owner right now will spend, and a few others, but I think people will be surprised at how many teams aren't going to be close to that.
Well, no, I talked to a couple of Canadian team executives last couple of weeks, and they're like, this is great. Cap's going up, but how do we pay for it?
Yeah.
Like we don't have the Leafs revenues. We don't have the Rangers revenues. So yeah, it's nice, but we can't jack ticket prices up 15% a year to keep up. So, because it's looking like it's going to go up about 10% a year. Play that out over 5-6 years, you got season tickets going at almost double. It's crazy. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult. I think the thing that you look at all these deals now, and you have to think how many agents should be fired for signing those really long deals during that COVID time. Never made sense to me.
Yeah,
never made sense. And were they all just bucking for the money, pining for the long-term deal, taking 5 years off? It's just unbelievable because, we're going to see, look at Kaprizov at 17. It makes Cooley's deal look, a little light, which is strange because $10 million a year would have been crazy for him a year ago.
Yeah, well, Kaprizov right now is looking as the outlier, right? If you look at Jack Eichel and you look at Connor McDavid and you look at Kyle Connor and everybody else, like he's $3 million more than the next highest paid player in the NHL.
Well, he's really an outlier because he doesn't have a goal yet.
Yeah.
So it's not that great a value.
Yeah.
I mean, you could at least argue that Eichel's not a bad deal at 10. It's hard to imagine 0 goals at 17.
Well, technically, Kaprizov doesn't start till next year on 17 million.
Well,
right? So he's still on his old.
So
So,
he
right
can-
now he's a bargain at 0 goals, right?
He's just
a
warming
bargain.
up. He's just warming up for it.
Yeah. But it is interesting, and you've had players beforehand. Do you notice though, guys, when they sign that big ticket, how some put way too much internal, like they change. It's like you're the same player. Yeah, you're getting paid more.
Yeah.
But it changes them
Oh
internally.
gosh, I had Roman Turek in Calgary a few years ago, and he had like 25 amazing games. We signed a 5x5 back then, was pretty good. And that contract, he couldn't carry it. Like he just fell apart and put too much pressure on himself. So yeah, it happens. And I just think it's a little different today. You're not picking up your check. You don't really notice it. You know, whether you get 5 million a year or 10, it's going right into deposit. So I think a lot of guys don't even give it much thought, right? But yeah, and you got to know there's certain guys that'll fall apart, right? You just got to know the quality of your player.
But how do you know that as an agent?
Well, I don't have to know it. I'm not giving up the $50 million.
Oh, you're talking the team.
They
has
have to know a lot. You have to have a really good understanding of your player. Like we talked about Wyatt Kaiser a while ago, and he was, we sort of talked about a bit of a long-term deal, and they hummed and hawed, so he took a 2-year deal. Well, the way he's playing more minutes than anybody else in Chicago. He's probably their best defenseman, not as productive because he doesn't play on the power play. But now, I joked with them at one point. I said, like, I'm just, the long-term deal is maybe me trying to save your job. Because now he's going to, instead of getting maybe 4 times 4, he's going to end up with 2 times 2 and 7.
Right.
Or 8.
Mm-hmm.
Well, by then, maybe 9. We don't know. So, but there's, these deals, I think they make a lot of sense if you're happy, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not just about the money. People forget things like, gee, yeah, your wife has to stay home while you're on the road and it's minus 40 up there in Winnipeg. So, like there's issues that go on where the family's happy, travel's easy for maybe their family. And, you don't belittle a guy, even though I was giving the agents a bad time for signing some of these long-term deals a while ago, you have enough at 8 times 8, right? To live pretty comfortable.
Yes.
Depends where you eat at. I mean, if you're at the nice restaurant, you might run shy at the end of the deal, but there's a lot to do with being happy, enjoying where you are. Be careful what you ask for. Sometimes you might get it.
No, that's very true.
Ask Ilya Brizgala.
Yeah. No,
right? He's happy. He made $40 million for 2 years in Philly. At the end of the day, with his buyout, worked out okay. But yeah, he wanted to play and wanted to perform.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like, you can have the money, but the memories sometimes are more fulfilling. And living in that, like competing and being in that moment, and so obviously, hey, there's no guarantee. That's why, like, I always kind of chuckle. Well, I want to win. Well, newsflash: every player wants to win. Like, it's not like certain guys want to win. Now,
well, I'm not sure that's true, Jason.
You think?
I think
some. I
mean, want to. It's sort of by your actions, right? Somebody told me a while ago that Paul Coffey once said, what the average NHL player really wants? Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I'm happy. Things are great. And wanting to win is to be Kobe Bryant. Wanting to win is to act like Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, Michael Jordan. That's wanting to win. Not many guys really want to win, because wanting to win is putting in a level of work that most people aren't capable of. And that's, maybe the difference between, you look at Toronto and you look at and Edmonton. You think to yourself, you look at the 2 superstars here, man, they work hard. Does that drag that team along to the Stanley Cup Finals? It's probably a huge part of it. Whereas, do they want to win in Toronto? I mean, want to win?
No.
Like,
have they been constructed well enough to win, right? Like, there's the defense core. You look at Edmonton, and McDavid and them have had, additions to, Bouchard's emerged as a young guy, but then they've acquired Matthias Ekholm. They acquired Jake Wallman.
Yeah.
Who have they acquired in Toronto? You know what I mean? Like, it's a valid question, right? Like
Brandon Carlo.
Yeah, but do you put Carlo?
No, that's a tough deal. You give up Minton and a first-round pick for a guy that's in your second pairing, struggling to be in your second pairing.
Yeah.
So I know, but I do think there is an element. I joked with Bill Bill Scott at one point last year, because during the playoffs, I said to him, so who are those guys in this bottom six? Like, where did they come from? They weren't here all year. They never hit anybody in January. Like, what's going on? And I guess you get a sense that my feeling is that they were playing for Connor, that's what drug, because they know he wants to win. They know he needs to win. And it seemed to inspire them. And you look at teams like Toronto and Dallas, nice teams, skate well, they're pretty, but they don't have it. They don't want to win.
Yeah. Well, Zach Hyman in the playoffs, unfortunately, before it got, like, I look, if Zach Hyman stays healthy, do the Oilers win the cup? We'll never know. No, there's no data you could ever look at it, but he was hitting everything that moves, and it can be momentum changing shifts.
Yeah, in one game,
can change the game. That's that could be the difference, right? And when you go up against a heavy team like Florida, had Ekholm being healthy, if, and I get all that, if my aunt had nuts, she'd be my uncle. I get all the if stuff. So it is fascinating. That's why it's you can do all seemingly the right things as a manager. Build a team up for years. You get to the Stanley Cup final. You're into the Western or Eastern Conference final, and one of your best players gets hurt on a seemingly harmless play.
Yeah, that can happen,
and it changes a lot of things for your team.
Yeah, but there is a formula to win and to win consistently. We see it. We see it with the Dodgers. We saw it with the Mumbai Indians. You're probably not familiar with it, but Reliance Industries took them over as a non-playoff team in the Indian Cricket League, and five championships in 6 years. Dodgers did it. Sheik did it. Manchester City. There's just not many teams hiring the people are capable of doing what they need to do, and there's not many owners willing to spend off the ice to do the things they need to do. You follow the modern in Manchester City, Golden State, laughingstock of the entire league for how many decades? 2, 3?
Yeah.
New ownership comes in, Peter Gruber and his hedge fund partner. Like, it's not that complicated to put yourself in a position to win. You're right that you might lose.
Well, they also got like drafting Draymond Green, where they drafted him, and him becoming that good. I don't know if that was their plan, because if it was, why would you wait and risk everybody else drafting him? So you always need a little bit of luck.
You need a little bit of luck, but hard work.
Yeah.
They didn't only have Draymond Green.
Yeah. No, well, right? And the other teams letting Steph Curry drop to where he got drafted too, right? Like sometimes
just because other people are stupid doesn't make them smart. Smart.
It makes you smart to take advantage of the opportunity you were given.
Right. You got to look, but we know we always have to. I mean, the great teams look and they mine underdeveloped assets, right? They find them.
Yeah.
They find them. And at the end of the day, it's mind-boggling to me. In order to win in this league, you need to draft a fairly large number of what we call core players: top 6 forwards, third line center, top 4D, and number 1 goalie. Do you know what percentage rate NHL teams draft the core players they need to win the cup at?
Oh, not very good. Like 13%.
12.3.
Ooh, that was pretty close.
So like, what other industry accepts 12.3? If I succeeded on hitting market value on 12.3% of my contracts, I don't really like my chances of playing the mortgage next month.
Well, like, if you look at an organization that different direction, there's no better error than the Minnesota Timberwolves, who had the 5th and the 6th pick in the 2009 draft and took Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn instead of Steph Curry. And oh, by the way, they were both point guards. So it wasn't like you were looking at a center or a power forward. You were looking at point guards. And first of all, if you had the 4th and 5th pick, why the hell would you take 2 point guards? Sorry, 5th and 6th. Why ever would you take 2 point guards there? It makes no sense to me. But that to me is wow. Like, you look at the guys that they could have taken Steph Curry. I think DeMar DeRozan, if memory is correct, was in that. Brandon Jennings. Like, there was lots of other players. Like, there's a team that had bad scouting. And so why do you have bad scouting? Like, what's the reason why you have
Forrest Gump weighed in on that.
Yeah.
Stupid is as stupid does. And I think, and then what's even more stupid, they hire the guys again.
Yeah.
After they screwed all that up.
Yeah. That's the part that's wild.
How these guys can make billions of dollars in their core business and completely lose their minds when they're running a sports team is beyond me. But most of them do. And that's why we have very few dynasties.
Yeah. Well, and very few dynasties, and it's hard to win now, right? With the salary cap, there are some limitations.
No, it's not. It's not hard to win.
Well,
you just have to draft well. And at the end of the day, there are teams that are winning consistently, even in, with some of those restrictions. At the end of the day,
do you have to draft? Well, drafting is part of it, but
the biggest part.
I would argue that not really.
It's culture.
I would look at Florida's trades.
Oh yeah. But Florida,
right.
Now there's an outlier. What they needed was Brad Treliving's number. I mean, that's the outlier. Have somebody's number who will give you Bennett and give you Tkachuk and take off your hands the two players you didn't want to sign in Uyghur and Huberdeau.
Yeah.
So there are outliers, and they sort of there are not many of them. They had 3 draft picks on their team.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
Lundell, Barkov, and Ekblad, right?
But at the end of the day, there's also a little luck Forsling on waivers.
Oh God, yeah.
But who passed up on him? I mean, again, it's
lots of
look, there's a lot of businessmen that have made a lot of money in a lot of industries because their competitors weren't that smart.
Yeah.
Sports not that different. It's obvious.
Yeah.
What we don't do in sports, it's mind-boggling what happens in sports. So coaches, the great coaches, never talk about winning. They talk about process, right? It's all about process. Wins will come, it's all about process. And when it comes to managing a hockey team, managing or evaluating management, they all talk about wins. But by the time they get to the standings, the mistakes are all done.
Yeah.
They're all baked in.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's teams out there who are trying to get an inch better. So they're going to give up. Here's why drafting is so important. If you can draft at, say, 20%, you'll have so many prospects that you can buy the players. What are the cheapest players every year to add to your core to win a cup? The cheapest players are the expiring contract for a $10 million guy. The problem is, if you don't have enough prospects to be comfortable giving away a first-round pick or 2 young prospects because you got so many coming, if you don't draft well, you can't buy the least expensive players on the market. But that's what teams like places like Toronto do. You know, you're trying to get, if your goal is to try and get one more round, you're going to make mistakes that will prevent you from ever having a chance to be a champion.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. And
but
like the key is, drafting, because they traded some of their picks that led them to get other players, obviously, right? They traded Huberdeau, that got them Tkachuk. So when you have good draft picks,
but that was a giveaway. That was
but they still took advantage of it either way. They used their draft pick capital to acquire a good player, right? It's kind of like I look at Utah. Like Utah has drafted quite well here in the last 5 or 6 years. They've kept some of their guys, but then they like Sergachev. Okay, we're going to trade JJ.
But they had the prospects.
Yes, that's what I mean.
And the reason they had the prospects because they couldn't afford to pay anybody.
Yeah.
So they're kind of forced to. But Bill Armstrong is doing a really good job there. He's I spent a lot of time with Bill, and he's doing a lot of analytics. He's looking at things a lot differently. They're doing a good job in the management side of the business. And that's what people forget. I mean, most of the problems the teams that aren't making the playoffs have are sitting in the C-suite. They're not sitting on the bench.
Yeah. Quick break. When we come back, a gentleman who it's a very different league because it turns over automatically. It's not one where you can build and have a plan for 15 years. You kind of need a 4 or 5 year plan. And that plan took a big change suddenly in the span of like right in the middle of a plan, potentially. So we'll talk the business of sport next here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace replacement company for zombie hunters. Those who know their old decrepit furnace passed away years ago. It's decaying husk shuffling around now as the furnace. Legacy Heating will send your undead furnace to its grave, replacing it with no payments and no interest for 1 year. Protect your legacy from the beast in the basement. It's time to destroy the furnace of the dead. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts. And play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocks.yeg.com.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Edmonton sports fans stay informed with Sports 1440. Stream us. Listen to us on the AM dial. However you consume this radio station, thanks for listening.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on.
Hey there, this is your wake-up call. It's time to change to your winter tires. Unless you want to be sliding and swerving around icy roads like you're some kind of dummy. Head to Big Toy Shop and get it done right for a great price. We won't lie to you, inflate your bill, or waste your time. Time to change your tires. Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road. 780-298-2797.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and you can play score and win every game. See more at ontherocksyeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$425. Welcome back. The Business of Sport on Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Of course, remember, if you missed any part of the show, you can always get the podcast anywhere you download your podcast, or go to jasongregor.com, and each individual interview is up there. So you always have a chance to go back and re-listen. Business of Sport, I think, has become pretty popular. People like it. We always have good guests, good conversation. Agreeing, disagreeing makes a lot of fun. As it's time now to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. Saints are back home finally on Saturday night, the crosstown rivalry, the Saints and the Crusaders. It's always great at the brand new Thompson Family Arena. So get your tickets at sgsaints.ca. And today in the Business of Sport, we were talking about like building a winner's hard. In every league, there's different challenges. And in junior hockey, it's kind of like a 4 or 5 year window that you have at the most. Then you kind of have to try to turn it over a little bit. And, you know, sometimes you got to go all in and push your chips and then give away a lot of draft picks. And then there's going to be a few years of pain and away. And hopefully you have enough good players that then you can trade them off and get other draft picks in return. Then you throw in a total wrench in your plan with the NCAA ruling that allows players now to play major junior and then go to NCAA. So how much has it changed? It's been a few months, so we've been kind of waiting to get our next guest on. He's the GM of the Edmonton Oil Kings, one of the best teams in the Western Hockey League. Kurt Hill joins us. Kurt, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Jason. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I'm really good. It's I'm sure, you know, it wasn't a huge shock because I remember talking to you in your office a few times last year. I know there's the rumblings that it was coming and you try to prepare for it. You're always trying to prepare for different options. But now that it's here and, you know, you some teams lose some guys, you know, I think in your case, it looked at, you know, Medicine had and a few other teams lost. You said, well, now I'm maybe going to speed up my be aggressive on trades. And that's kind of, I think, how it affected your team maybe a little bit differently. But how has it for you as a GM? What's been the biggest change now with you knowing that your players are eligible to go to NCAA?
I think the biggest change has been just the communication that we have with, NCAA schools now. It's added a lot more to the portfolio, just in the sense that you're trying to get to know assistant coaches, and a lot of times teams have multiple. You're trying to get to know head coaches. There's this whole new area of player agents from the U.S. I've never dealt with before, players in places in the U.S. that really had no interest in coming to our league. So and with that too, it's coaches of those players in minor hockey and in American programs. So it's certainly added like I said, a portfolio of a lot more networking, a lot more day-to-day on the phone with just understanding where colleges are at, who they're interested in. And, at the end of the day, they just want to try to get to know us. And, I've tried to get to know some of them as well. And, but day-to-day, it's certainly added a lot. I will say that.
Do you work in a way where you say, like, because nowadays, like, they're not going to, I wouldn't think, try to get a lot of 17, guys to come there at 17 or 18, right? They're looking to say, hey, maybe we get some guys, they can commit while they're playing for your team, but we don't want them to come till they're 19 and probably ideally 20 in the grand scheme of things. Is there competition? Is it working together? Say, hey, we'll help develop the guy here, and then he comes to your program. How does that work?
I do think there's scenarios where that has happened. We have 2 players on our team that are committed to Maine that were both U.S. players, one that we had listed, one that we had drafted in the U.S. draft. And, Maine has no interest in having those players there this year. Well, they're obviously 17 and 18 years old, but in the future they will when they feel that they're ready. And they felt like this was a good development spot for them. So we ended up being able to recruit those players and somewhat have open conversation with Maine about that whole process. But I think it kind of depends on the market of the college. The more and more I've gotten to know this, I think there's some schools in the U.S. that are just strictly looking to get guys when they're 20, maybe guys when they're finished their 20-year-old season. They're going after youth sport players. And then there's, some schools that are going after the younger guy that's maybe not the high-end guy. They want to get them committed. They're a really good junior player, but maybe not the high-end NHL style player that, they know they would like to commit them and get them when they're 19 or 20 years old, or maybe even when they age out at 20. But then I do feel like there's this market of schools that are kind of playing by their own rules. And if there's a high-end guy that's been drafted high in the NHL, they're going to go and try to get him. And that's just what they're going to do.
So Kirk, you look at it, and the how much as a GM now do you have to be, instructing families? Because I think a lot of people see NCAA and, oh my God, this is going to be great. My son's going to get a full ride. And I think there's lots of, first of all, it's not guaranteed for 4 years. I always like to remind people of that, you can sign 1 year, you can sign with a college, but that doesn't mean you're staying there for the full 4 seasons, especially now with the transfer portal window and coaches and anything else. And they can literally get rid of you after the 1 year of your deal. It's kind of a year by year situation. So how much of this have you had to be like, when you talk to parents of kids on your team, kind of educating them on the reality of it, not just the headlines that people think, oh, this is the greatest thing, because it's not the greatest thing for every player. I see it this year. I saw so many guys who left and they're barely playing in their NCAA team. That's not helping their development.
Yeah, I think it's about having that open conversation. I mean, all of our players and families, I've had dressing room conversations with the whole team. I've had individual chats with players. I've had Zoom calls with our families and have kind of had those sidebars with individual parents as well. And I mean, I think it's very player specific and program specific for what that opportunity is going to look like for an individual player. And, I do always caution the parents and saying that at the end of the day, you're not giving anything up by staying in junior hockey longer and developing. You're still going to be able to go to the NCAA if you're going to want to do that. It's interesting that the whole, saying of the NCAA before, when we were in a recruitment battle with them, was, extend your runway and leave your options open, go to junior A, extend your runway. And now we want to rush guys when they're 18 and 19-year-old to get there as soon as possible. So it's interesting how that dynamic has changed on that side of the fence.
It's Rich here, and it's changed in a positive way in some respects, because it does give kids who develop late a huge opportunity. And I remember last year we had conversations that I have never had in my life. You can imagine a call with a young Russian player who didn't take any schooling in Canada while he was here because he couldn't speak the language, and Max Murinov, then of the Calgary Hitmen. And, hey, Max, have you ever thought of going to college? And he just he looked at me like I'd lost my mind. He didn't know what a scholarship was. Now he's at Niagara University playing really well. I mean, it's changed his life. So there's real benefits. And I think you benefit a lot because you're really extending the runway in a sense. The old extend the runway, it now works in your favor, right? That argument, because you can keep him till he's 20. He can go at 20, play till he's 24, so you have the ability to, I think the recruiting is going to be a lot easier from that perspective for you, don't you think?
Oh, certainly recruiting players in our league. I think every player that's drafted high, that's a Canadian player now, is going to come play in the Western Hockey League and the CHL in general. And I just look at our team this year to get 2 18-year-old rookies from the U.S. that have played, one played for the national development team, the other played in the BCHL, that we would have never seen those types of players come before. That's certainly an area where it's a recruitment advantage now. And then there's the other side too of guys that maybe didn't get drafted in our league and are having great years in the AJHL or maybe the BCHL, SJHL, whatever it may be, that maybe they didn't start developing until they were 18, 19 to be able to play in our league. And now those players could become 19, 20-year-old rookies in the Western League. And like you said, that runway is just extended for them as well.
Yeah, see, I've always believed that. Decide what kind of player you want to be and never leave the level you're at until you've dominated in that role. And there's so many kids will, my buddies are playing for the Oil Kings or my buddies are doing this, and they move along when they're not ready. And I just, I think there's got to be a lot more dialogue to make sure that we get the best out of the players, and you had a lot of pressure to sign these guys, earlier, because you want their name on that contract, right? Because that blocked them out of the NCAA. There's only one player in the history of the Western Hockey League who's played a few games in the Western Hockey League and went to college long before this rule changed.
Oh,
Chris Chelios. He played in Lethbridge for a number of games. And back then, no internet, no coverage. Chris had him ripe up every piece of paper that had his name on it, and he still got to college. So Chris had his own, of course, he had his own unique way to 48 as well. But
yeah, he must have played a preseason, right? Exhibition game in the WHL.
Yeah. But that would have
disentitled
him. But rip it all up, get it out of your way, and then he went back to Wisconsin. So there was one guy that did it, but it was really fun. I got Max Marinoff and Marshall Finney is a guy we work with who came from the Oil Kings, and they're both at Niagara College, both doing really well. And I never thought I'd have those conversations. Canadian kid, and we actually had a kid from Prince Edward Island who was also recruited by them, but didn't have, for some reason, transcript didn't pair up and he couldn't go. So we would have had a U Sport player, Canadian CHL player, and a Russian player all go to one university. So it's been interesting dynamics for us. But you look at it, the opportunity for a young guy like Max Marinoff, instead of going to the second league in Russia and maybe wandering your way up someday to the KHL, now he's going to have a degree from an American college and a pretty interesting life ahead of him. And so from that perspective, it's been really good.
Kurt, for you, for a guy like Ethan McKenzie, now you've had players, you've never really had guys who committed beforehand, right? So when they commit to a program and now they're still playing for you, does that program try to influence your usage of the player?
UND's been really good about everything. They've had some conversations primarily with me about his development and just the trajectory that he's on and how he's doing. And they're trying to get to know him as a player as well. A lot of these schools have recruited these guys fast. So, they do the eye test and they get to know them when they have their visit in the summer and that, but they're still trying to get to know them a lot more as people and individuals and get to know the families more. So certainly we've had conversations on that. And, the schools they come to some of the games, obviously to watch and scout, I guess, future players and, players that are committed to those schools. And I'm not naive to know that they're meeting with them after the game to discuss their game and understand, I'm sure they're telling them things that they would like them to work on or what things they saw in the game. But to say that they're trying to talk to us about minutes and, his usage in our club, I haven't run into a situation like that with any of our committed guys at this point.
Okay. That's the exclusive province of the agent, right, Kurt?
Exactly. That's when the agent calls.
The whining, complaining. Probably not a good time for me to bring up.
I'm sure the schools will go to the agents and ask the agents to call.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Kurt, I wonder, because you don't want mixed messages, right? Like if you're like, hey, this guy's here and he's a puck moving defenseman. Well, I don't think there's a coach in the Western League who's going to say, hey, suddenly Ethan McKenzie, I don't want you to skate the puck. I don't want to transport the puck. But sometimes mixed messages for a 17 and 18-year-old cannot be good. So if they're talking to the player afterwards, how do you ensure that those conversations aren't clouding the mind of the player and suddenly, they're thinking multiple different things?
Yeah, the way I've approached it, honestly, is just anybody on my team that's committed, I've tried to have that open dialogue with the program and understand what they're seeing, understand when they envision that player coming in, where they think their strengths and weaknesses are, what type of player they're going to want them to be when they get there. So I have a pretty good understanding of what they're seeing. And even if I know they're at games, I, usually have whether it's a text dialogue or quickly meet with them at some point to see what they thought of their game that night and vice versa. Like that, a lot of that conversation is going. So, you gotta, at the end of the day, these kids are committed. They're going to these programs. You have to have that dialogue with the program, or like you're saying, the mixed messaging. If I'm going to shut the door on them, then there's definitely going to be mixed messaging, in my opinion.
Right.
Well, see, I take a more proactive role because we do a lot of goal setting with our players, and our view of it, Kurt, is, and you may have seen little bits of it with Luke, is we try and get a clear understanding, largely what the coach wants from him. Even if we don't agree with the coach, I always say to a player, like if the coach wants you to stand on one leg during the national anthem, what do? And every player answers, I stand on one leg during the national anthem, because I think it's detrimental for a player. That's why I don't like the portal. I'm with Tom Brady. I don't like the portal because, it doesn't work out, I leave.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
And I think part of the maturing process for an athlete is learning to deal with the coach that's difficult, right? I remember I had a player in the American Hockey League. I mean, he would call me after every game. He wanted to kill his coach. We worked through it. We talked to the coach. Eventually, he would play for this coach all the time because he was just really working him hard to get him to what he wanted to do. And I think I'm a big fan of getting our players on the same page with you and your coach, because that's helping him learn to deal with that situation, because it's not going to be the last time, right, that he deals with it. So I just think it's the wrong approach. I hear all the time that agents are suggesting the guys go for points or do whatever they do at times. I just think it's counterproductive. Learn to be the best you can be in whatever environment you're in. That's about what it's about, toughen it up. That's the mental part of the game that you need to deal with, right? Vinny Prospal talked about it. 4 years in the minors, 18-year-old kid, he had to learn. I guess he made a bit of football in Tampa there. But outside of that, I mean, we got to help them, because otherwise working counterproductively is just a waste of time for everybody. Hurts the player.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. And we'll take a quick break, Kurt. I want to come back. And so we've had 2 months of this kind of new thing, and it probably gets you time to map out what the future looks like, how it changes. And then also for any of our listeners who don't understand, where, some players and the opportunity to come back to the CHL and how that changes. Even it's almost like it's a new scouting path in a way for you as a GM. We'll get to that and more when we return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit Loca.ca to start planning today.
The future of female hockey is here. It's season 2 of the Female Super League, the first ever female-only independent hockey division in Western Canada, with teams from British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Featuring 16U, 14U, and 12U divisions, the FSL brings showcase weekends packed with thrilling games, and our 14U and 16U have been pioneering the advanced body checking rule, empowering young players. The Female Super League, where the best in female hockey takes center ice. Details at femalesuperleague.com.
Since 1971, the Brick has been committed to saving you more. Right now, hurry in to save up to $1,000 off sofas and sectionals, up to 40% off mattresses, and up to 35% off furniture. Plus, buy any 3 select major appliances and save 15% off. And if you can find a lower price before the end of the year, including Black Friday and Boxing Day, they'll refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you money.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Monopoly Double Play is back at McDonald's. So let's practice winning. You just won 25 grand and go.
Yes!
I said 25 grand.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah!
Much better. Okay, now you just won a brand new Chevrolet Corvette. I think she just fainted. Impressive. Feel like a winner on pack and in-app. Monopoly Double Play is back. While supplies last, 1 in 5 chances to win game piece prizes at outset. Chances to win draw prizes depend on number of entries in each draw. Cash prizes payable by e-transfer. See rules in-app.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
When you've just got to get your wings on, bring it on to Game On is Sherwood Park's new home for game night and good times. Every hump day is Wing Wednesday, and you know you're going to need extra napkins. Get your wings done the way you like with classic or signature sauces, or try them with a dry rub. Just 69 cents each, 25 flavors to choose from. And while you're here for Wing Wednesdays, you can enjoy $4 sleeves of Tilt Lager. So fly the coop and come to Game On Kitchen, Sports Bar, Arcade, Baseline Road, Sherwood Park.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation, 2 weekly podcast with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger breaking down the green and gold. The most in-depth Double E football coverage on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts, elksnation.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
4:45, we continue on the business of sports with our guest, the general manager of the Edmonton Oil Kings, Kurt Hale, and we're talking about the big changes. And Kurt, now you, in a way, you know, you're kind of scouting, and I don't know how serious or not, but do you have to keep an eye now on NCAA because there's so many players that left here right away? They're not all going to be happy. They're not all going to get the playing time they want. They get promised certain things, and then reality kicks in, and suddenly like, oh my God, I'm a third liner. I'm a fourth liner here. I'm not playing very much. How much does that play into it for you? Do you have to spend a little bit more time in your organization scouting there?
Yeah, we've certainly been tracking all those players that left our league to join the NCAA this year early, and and further to that point, there's even more players because there's players from the U.S. that aren't potentially on teams' lists in our league that are playing NCAA at a younger age. And there's potential, if they're not enjoying their time at the school right now, they could potentially come to our league too. So, a lot of the time that's something you would hear probably through an agency at the end of the day. If it's a player that's not on a list, that they'll say, hey, this player is maybe not getting the ice time. They might be interested in exploring something potentially. We'll see where, things get to by the end of the first semester. But, yeah, we've been tracking everything, and obviously this week was we saw a player come back, and Everett made a trade for Ryland Gould from Swift Current, and he's left Michigan Tech to come back, and that's a 20-year-old player in our league this year now, and just a player that wasn't happy with the experience he had down there.
Yeah, it's interesting because I thought, I think initially we were all worried that the CHL was going to be in tough, and it just looks like complete reverse has happened, right? It's just opened up a whole pool of athletes for you. Now you're going to have the competition for some of them, but if you do your job well, you won't have much competition for them, and you'll have a whole pool of other talent to appeal. It's pretty interesting how it's turned out. Everyone was worried about the nil rights and some of that stuff, but it doesn't seem to have played out much, does it, Kurt?
No, it doesn't. And I think one of the biggest things too, after once we see what happens over the next 2 to 3 months here, when we get to the end of December, is how many players did come back. And if it ends up being a lot of players, I think that's where families are probably going to take a lot closer of a look at it, and even talk to some of these families and say, well, why wasn't his experience good? And, it's going to be the old adage, the grass isn't always greener at the end of the day, but it's what we talked about earlier. It's that development piece. And there'd be nothing worse than you get through the Western League and you go through your developmental years here of potentially going through being a fourth line player, a third line player. And now you've worked your way up to be a top line player and you decide to go there early and you're back just to what you worked so hard to get out of.
Yes.
It would just be such an interesting decision for somebody.
I think some of these kids, Kurt, they don't realize how, it's a big step up playing against 21, 22, 23-year-olds. They're bigger, they're stronger. I mean, the NCAA is it's really an unofficial minor league development system. I mean, it's tough. I mean, if you're 20, 21, you can handle it, right? But if you're, younger, it's not an easy go, and I think you need to be here to be developed, generally.
Well, I think one of the tough things too that people don't, that is not thought about enough is the 2 games a week, and guys that have played in CHL, they're not used to that. Like to try, if your game isn't going the way you want it to go in our league, at least you're like, okay, I get to try it again on Tuesday. I get to try it again on Wednesday night. And then I got 2 games on the weekend. But down there, if you don't score the first 2 weekends of the season, it's like, holy smoke, this is getting pretty long now for a guy to try to get back on, to try to get that momentum going again. So it's, and another big one I heard from families and that too was just how long it takes to get the season going. Like a lot of players went down there at the end of August and you're not practicing with your coach to the end of September. You're not playing games to the middle of October and you're taking 4 courses. So it's certainly a whole different environment than.
I talked about this young Russian player. I couldn't believe it. I asked him what courses he's taking. He's got accounting, finance, economics, and he hasn't been in school for 3 years. He's doing okay, but I forget. I played college sports as a volleyball player, and I remember one of my teammates when I went to law school the first year. There's no way you're going to play volleyball and go to law school because it's tough to be at practice, and we practice hard every day for a couple of hours, and that's a tough go. I think it's good for players in many ways because it keeps the brain activated, but it's a tough go. Yeah.
Kurt, how has it changed for you and the dynamics of building your team? Is there more uncertainty? Is there more options? How has it changed, if any? Because I know it's not even a full calendar year yet that this has been in place, but I'm kind of curious, what has it led to change it in maybe how you run the organization as a GM?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I've had a lot of conversation about this one with Callie Larson, who's working for the Oilers now, and his time in Dubuque, because the biggest thing I see and the trend I see going is that the rosters, they're going to turn over quicker than before. And in junior hockey, we're talking about a 4 or 5 year window, and now it could be a 2 to 3 year window. And it's not going to be age specific where you're losing your 19-year-olds. It's going to be all over the map because you're going to be recruiting kids that are 18 or potentially 19-year-old rookies. Like there's just going to be way more movement within your roster. And when you think about trying to build a team, and I think about the team that we had before when we won, a lot of it was continuity, and the guys knew each other. We had built a culture, and they've played together for the core of the group had been together for 2 or 3 years, and I just don't know if that's going to be a reality anymore. I almost have a bit of a feel that you almost got to treat your 18-year-olds like your 19-year-olds were before. And if you have really good 18-year-olds and they're having great seasons in the CHL, I just feel like at the end of the day, there's potential you could lose those guys. And if you think your team's good enough, I think more teams are going to go for it when they have some high, maybe guys that are 18 having really good seasons, if they feel like they have a chance to win. Because at the end of the day, if you have long playoff runs, you're going to showcase your players more. I mean, we saw what happened to Medicine Hat with some of their guys, and there's probably just a better chance that they're going to end up getting a scholarship or a school is going to come after them.
Kurt Hill joins us, the GM of the Edmonton Oil Kings. So with that in mind, that it's a shorter window, do you have to be more aggressive when you feel you have a team that's competitive?
Oh, I think you do for sure. I think at the end, actually more aggressive. I don't know. I don't think you're necessarily going to have to be going out there and having to make multiple moves anymore. I do feel like everyone's gonna be after maybe making two big moves, because I think the player pool has increased so much now that I don't know if a lot of teams are going to be making moves for the depth of their lineup. I think now that we have every draft, all the high-end draft picks are coming to our league. You have Americans coming. We have 3-year import players now. I think there's quality in the depth of our league now. That I think it's the best depth we've seen in a long time.
Really?
Now we did lose some high-end players. Don't get me wrong, but the depth is there's really good players playing right throughout every lineup, and I see coaches playing 4 lines and 3 sets of D way more than I've seen in the past as well. So I can just tell the confidence in them, in the player makeup is really good. So I do feel like teams that are going to decide to go for it, I think it's going to be they're chasing after a couple big moves. I don't know if there's going to be these full overhaul roster, turnovers where you're trying to add 10 guys to go for it. I mean, unless maybe if you're hosting the Memorial Cup, that could be a little bit more of a challenge for some guys. For some teams, you need to add.
Is it fair to say, like, when I look at the WHL compared, and, a lot of people are like, well, the WHL hasn't won the Memorial Cup in such a long time, and, yada, yada, all the reasons. And a lot of people feel that, the OHL and the Quebec Major Junior League, like, the teams who go for it, like, they really go for it, like, even more so. And it's almost like the league's like, okay, you know what, it's their turn, so we're almost going to help them go for it. Do you sense that at all, Kurt? Like, do you feel that in those leagues there's more willingness to help and let a team really kind of load up, not only to win their league, but compete for the Memorial Cup?
Yeah, from watching it over the last since I've been doing it the last 7 years here, I feel that would be pretty accurate for the Q. I do feel like there is usually 3 or 4 teams, and maybe they just don't have the depth in the league, that there's 3 or 4 teams that kind of become outliers. They're the ones that are going to be the good teams. And it just seems like those are the teams that load up, and it ends up being a couple that end up making substantial moves to add a lot of players. I don't get that sense as much in the OHL. Like, I do feel like the OHL is maybe more geared towards population base and skill. And, I just feel like there's some programs there that, you look at a program like London, they do a phenomenal job with their players, and they continue to develop, and they do make trades, and players want to play there, and they find ways to get those players on their team somehow. And, they're usually good, but I think, and I'm not just speaking to their program, but there are really good programs in that league that seem to just year over year have strong clubs.
Okay. One last one for you, Kurt. With the, with the BCHL, it's like competition in a way, but they're not always for the same players. And now, of course, with the open ability for anybody, whether it's BCHL, AJHL, WHL, they can all go to NCAA. Is there, do you find, because you could have a player, you're like, man, like, this guy's good, but he's just not going to play a lot for us. Man, you talk to him, he's 17 or whatever. Hey, maybe you go to the BCHL or go to an AJHL team. Is there that open conversation, or is it still a real, like, well, we're direct competitors, so we don't work together?
No, you know what? The league's done a great job, the head office, with putting together, it's called the Western Canadian Development Model, that works with the Alberta Junior League, Saskatchewan Junior League, and Manitoba Junior League. And that's really opened up teams having the ability to send players that, 16-year-olds that might not be ready, maybe even a 17-year-old that's not ready, to go and play in those leagues and develop. And those leagues have gotten younger. Now, some programs in those leagues have just chosen to go older still, but there's a lot of teams that are in those leagues now, and coaches that are excited to work with, 16 and 17-year-old players that want to move on to the Western League. They're not working with the older 20-year-old now that potentially isn't motivated, in the sense of, like, some of these young, hungry 16 and 17-year-olds that are going to be good players in our league. So I do think some teams have made that switch in that league, and it certainly has become a bit of a farm system for the teams in the Western League. And unfortunately, with the BCHL just being outside of the system, it's hard to send players there right now because you can't use them at all. You can't AP them. You would have to be 100% certain you're sending them to that league and you're going to keep them there for the rest of the season, because it's not to say that you can't get them back out of there, but to use them as an affiliate player, it's just not possible. So I think right now teams are just looking to work with, the AJHL, SJ, and MJ, and it's been a really good relationship with what the Western Hockey League has done with those leagues.
No, I would say this from I would like to see Hockey Canada maybe get over that and look, say, if we're here to have the benefit of all the players, this is a league that's being established now. They got some good owners. They got good leagues that would work out. And, if a player's playing there, and that's fine. And if he wants to come back to the WHL, that would be a good thing. I don't think that's anywhere near close, unfortunately. Seems more of a Hockey Canada issue, but it'd be something that would be fantastic, I think, because then it even helps. You got a local guy in Edmonton. You could have him playing in Spruce Grove or Sherwood Park. Just from a scouting perspective, everything else, she doesn't have to move. Like, there's lots of benefits there if that's something that could come to fruition.
It's my own contention with hockey in general. Like, I just think as a father, kids should be at home longer, right? So I don't know how that model changes, but ultimately, I remember going to a game a few years ago, and the goalie from Red Deer was playing for Red Deer was from Swift Current, and the goalie from playing for Red Deer or Swift Current was from Red Deer, and it just seems like it's tough. The hard part of hockey is it does rip families apart, and I think that's unfortunate, but I don't know how we deal with that.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Quickly, Kurt, about your team, the Oil Kings, you're off to a pretty good start, and you're off to a pretty good start with some of your veteran guys. They're not playing terrible by any stretch of the imagination. I know Hodnett missed a few games. Adam Jecko probably would like more than 2 goals in 13 games, yet your team's still winning, and you probably feel like, I got some guys who are going to find their game soon.
Yeah, you know what? We've had a good start to the season. I feel like it's you're right. I just don't think we've found the chemistry with the group yet, and I think it speaks to what we were talking about earlier. A lot of new faces. We have 3 new Americans, a new import player this year, and trying to get everybody gelled together and figure out what works. We just haven't clicked totally there yet. I don't feel anyways, and that probably speaks to the depth of our group and decor, and our goalies have been fantastic as well, and they've helped us win some games along the way here. But I feel like the chemistry just hasn't clicked yet. Our power play is operating around 15% right now, and I think that's just a cue to me that a little bit more time here, especially with the new coach as well. Jason Smith's done a great job with the guys so far, and I think, once we get to that 30-game mark, it's probably going to be a little bit more of a testament of where we're at. But certainly there's a few guys in there that haven't had great starts to the year. And, I think it's always a positive as a manager when those players are coming and telling you they know they haven't been playing well. And they're going to the coaching staff and asking them for feedback on how they can be better, because you've been in situations before where players have tough starts, or they have these streaks where they're not playing the greatest and they think they are. And those ones are a lot harder than when the player's telling you he's not.
I love those guys.
Yeah. No, for sure. Kurt, thanks so much for your time. As always, we appreciate it, and continued success. Thanks so much for joining us in the business of sport.
Yeah, thanks.
That is Kurt Hill, the GM of the Edmonton Oil Kings. It is a battle right now. In the Eastern Conference with Medicine Hat. PA is still yet to lose a game in regulation. Now, they've had a different schedule because they've played like 4 fewer games than everyone else. They're at 11. Meanwhile, Medicine Hat, Saskatoon, and the Oil Kings are all at 15 games. So you play more, and they're going to have to catch up those games, which means a little bit more travel. But those 4 teams all have 20 and 21 points so far. So pretty competitive across the top of the Eastern Conference. Meanwhile, Everett looks like the class of the West at 11-1-1 early on. Rich, great to catch up to you. Enjoy the World Series, and much more. We'll talk to you on
I just hope
Wednesday.
there's like 16 innings tonight.
Oh, geez. Yeah, no. As much as the 18 was fun to say, I don't think many of us want to do it again.
Like a good friend of mine, Stan Kasten, will have to have on as the president of the Dodgers, and man. Like, I remember talking, it was bizarre the last time I talked to him because he was just signing Ohtani.
Yeah.
But he was calling me up with the Professional Women's Hockey League that he was instrumental in establishing because the Dodgers, one of their subsidiaries, funded it all.
Yes.
And just, be, sort of cheering for Stan, but, his heart still lies in hockey, which is kind of odd. But it was bizarre that I said, Stan, you just spent like $750 million and you have time to phone me back? He said, oh, yeah, it's just another day in Dodgers, with the Dodgers. It's
they spend a lot of money.
But is that a guy a treat to watch or what? Holy!
He's a ridiculous athlete. No
and
question.
do you see him putting the cups on the water bucket for his players? And he wouldn't. If he's got an older player, he never goes into the dugout ahead of him. It's just incredible to see.
Yeah, the Japanese are very respectful in that regard.
It's just
we could learn a little thing about cleaning up after ourselves from them. There's no doubt. About that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot.
Awesome, Rich. We'll talk to you next week, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Loca. 2 locations, Sherwood Park and Edmonton. Quality food pre-made for you. If you don't want to cook, guess what? They have over 200 gourmet meals to choose from. Healthy and good for you. Loca, LOCA.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Just about an hour away from first pitch down in Los Angeles, Dodgers and Jays. Game 5 of the World Series currently tied at 2 games apiece. Trey Savage gets the call for the Jays, Snell for the Dodgers. You can listen to that one right here on Sports 1440, radio feed only. On the ice in the NHL, just one game tonight. Jackets and Leafs meeting in Columbus. Down gets going at 5:30. Off the ice, the Utah Mammoth and forward Logan Cooley agreeing to term on an 8-year contract extension worth $10 million per season. In the WHL, the Oil Kings on the road in Lethbridge taking on the Hurricanes at 7 o'clock. In the association, Raptors in action. They trail the Rockets 23-19 with 4:40 left in the first quarter. From the CFL, the Elks locking up a key piece of their secondary, bringing back defensive back Tyrell Ford through the 2027 season, and the New York Jets acquiring wideout John Mechie and a 2027 sixth-round pick from the Eagles for cornerback Michael Carter and a 2027 seventh-rounder. Coming up in Hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
You'll see us digging holes. No, we're not looking for buried treasure. You'll see us digging trenches as well. And no, we're not building a fort. We're GS Construction, and you'll see us in neighborhoods throughout the Edmonton area. So what are we doing? GS Construction provides rehabilitation and upgrade services to Edmonton and surrounding communities. Some of our
After 4
underground
o'clock.
utilities have served us for
After
years.
four- after
and
4
have
o'clock.
their useful lives.
Jason
We
Gregor.
replace them, so they're around for years to come. Find out more at gsconstructions.ca.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian
The
products for
business of
both you.
sport
Yeah,
on
that's CFI.
Jason Gregor Show on
CFI.
Sports
No,
14. That and more when we
CFI.
return on the Gregor
Custom
Show
Floors
presented by
Inc.
Play Alberta.
From free estimate to
Whether you're a
professional
craft
installation,
beer
contact Custom
hey,
Floors Inc. at
you know-
customfloorsinc.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Michelle and Colette are sisters. Sisters who don't agree on much, especially when it comes to which hockey team is the best.
Edmonton is the best, baby. Vancouver's number 1.
Even when it comes to meat snacks from Wilhawks.
I love the Harris Wiener. The ham sausage rules.
But they will agree
Wilhawk beef jerky is the best.
it might just be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Others can try to imitate, but no one can duplicate Wilhawk beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win friends with salad.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. I'm super excited to tell you today that we have fed over 250 families so far with our Feed 500 Families event. With that said, we are still short of our goal. We have decided to continue this on through to the end of October. With your help and your support, we can get this done. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Buddy, quit rolling up to the bar and looking like it's grade 9 grad and you're wearing your dad's old work suit. Do yourself a favor and call Game Day Suits.
Game Day Suits is Alberta-based and makes fully customizable, made-to-order suits. Perfect for hockey teams, wedding parties, or even the office crew. Book your free consultation at GameDaySuits.ca.
I'm rocking one right now. I look deadly.
You know they can't see you, right?
Okay, Mr. Announcer, you want to go, tough guy?
Game Day Suits!
When it comes to choosing a hair clinic, the difference is in the doctor.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. Transforming how you feel about yourself is a very personal experience, and I'll work directly with you every step of the way.
Physicians come from all over the world to learn from Dr. Elliott.
When your personal goal is to help other people achieve theirs, you must deeply understand the latest treatments.
Want to feel confident and comfortable? The difference is in the doctor.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott at drvanceelliott.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Joppa Machinery. Did you know that Joppa offers in-house and on-site service? Rain or shine, Joppa's service department is here for you. Get a quote now at joppamachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's after 5 o'clock. As you make your way home, Blue Jays, game 5 tonight against the LA Dodgers. It'll be a rematch of game 1 between Trey Savage and Blake Snell on the mound. Jays lineup changes from yesterday. Schneider is in for Lucas, hitting leadoff. And the only other change is that Clement and Barger have changed in the lineup, so it goes Varsho, Clement, then Barger, so it's a lefty, righty, lefty. That's really the only change for the Jays, other than the pitching staff. So Barger still in without George Springer. I just think you need another bat that has the home run potential. And I know it's a lefty matchup. I get the odds and everything, but Barger's hitting pretty well right now, so I like that decision to keep him in. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Our pick of the day at PlayAlberta.ca, we actually went with the hometown Columbus Blue Jackets. Tonight, as we found out that William Nylander not playing. These two is the only game in the NHL tonight, of course, with everybody playing last night. Both of these teams played last night, and the Blue Jackets are on home ice. So we will go with the CBJ. Tonight, you can get your plays, casino, live dealer, lottery, instants, and more at PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialist. They do a lot in the community, and guess what? They can do a lot for your career because they are hiring. If you want to work for a great company, go online, gsconstruction.ca, and look up careers, or go to indeed.com and look up GS Construction and find out the job that works for you. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us, and Spec, the Edmonton Oilers, not very good in the first period, but they regrouped. Coach spoke to him as Nugent Hopkins kind of laughed. Well, Chris is pretty laid back. He doesn't really yell very often, but outlined that they had 16 turnovers at the blue line in the first period. And it was like, enough's enough. Let's manage the puck better. And they obviously listened, because they came out in the second period and had easily their best period of the season with 5-on-5 goals, and took the lead and never relinquished it.
Yeah, I like the way Matthias Ekholm kind of framed it. He said, I'll just talk about myself. You know, he said, I haven't liked my game the last 5 or 6 games, and I had to be better. And I think that probably inside a room like that's been around for a long time, I think everyone realizes it's time for each individual to be better, and that'll make the team better. So, yeah, they did. You know, is this some seminal moment, Jason, where from now on they're going to play at a different level? Have they, crossed some bridge yesterday where they found their game? Or is this a one-off and they're going to stink against the Rangers? I mean, I'll let you know in about 24 hours, but it was a sight. Like, they looked like themselves. That Oilers team that pressed and managed the puck properly and exited their zone very well. They looked like the Oilers we're used to watching. So that's got to be a welcome sight, I would think, in this town.
Yes. They played better. Now it was 11-7. It wasn't like it was a 4-line rotation. Some guys got a few extra shifts, and it seemed to work out. Howard, of course, scored a goal last night for him, which is always exciting when you're a young player. You want to keep contributing. The Rangers come in, and the Rangers, when the Oilers beat them, the Rangers had high danger chances, 10-3 in favor of New York, with Stuart Skinner's best game of the season. He was better than Shesterkin in that game. Meanwhile, yesterday it was Jonathan Quick, and Vancouver now they were hurt, but they only generated 3 high danger chances. So the Rangers can lock it down. Different type of game. They don't have the offensive explosion or the speed that Utah has. They have more of a of a patient game. So it's probably going to be a very different style of game to play. But for Edmonton, I still think it comes down to just when they move the pucks back efficiently and they don't just have, lazy giveaways, brain fart giveaways, they're a much better team. And after the first period, we didn't see really any, glaringly bad decisions from the players.
Yeah, I think like the Oilers' MO when they're playing well, they're fine with they've learned to play a game where they say, look, we're going to limit chances. We don't need to play fire wagon hockey to get to 4 goals, and 4 is enough to win 90% of the time. We'll play in a properly played hockey game, proper defensive structure. We're not giving you a bunch of chances. We're not going to gamble. And if it turns into a low event game with less scoring chances, that's fine. We'll split 10 scoring chances combined because we think our offense is better than yours. And out of our 5 chances, we're going to score 3 times and you're not, so they'll play that game if you want. Utah forced them into a little more wide open game yesterday, and it was fun to watch, man. And they can play that game too. So, and at least for a night in New York, they played a patient game and they played a 1-0 hockey game. The point I'm making is when the Oilers are good, they've learned now to beat you however the game gets played. And that's the sign of a very good team. Have we seen that team a lot this year? No, not yet, but that's okay. We never see that team in October in Edmonton. So, why would we see it this year in October?
No. Well, it is true. And he kind of chuckled about, hey, this is the best start we've had since I've been here. So, I found that one, which is true, but it is kind of funny. Like they're 5-4-2. They didn't have, like I said, like the Oilers didn't have a bad start. They just had an average start. They had 10 points in 10 games. Not great, but it hasn't decimated them, right? Like they're 3 points back of Vegas. It's not like they've dug a massive hole that's going to take like, the other year, Spec, we're talking 12. At one point, it was 20-point the differential that you're trying to make up. And that's just extremely difficult to do. So, that part is better for Edmonton, no doubt. Yeah. I know that Vegas has a game in hand, so in theory, it could be a 5-point deficit. But we'll see. I haven't looked at the schedule and they make up that
whatever.
Game.
It's too early for that stuff,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. But last night, the Podkolzin, Draisaitl, Roslovic, like Jack Roslovic here, the last 3 games has looked a lot better. And to me, like even Knobloch said, he goes, I think we got our pieces kind of where we want. I don't think we're going to see a lot of changes, obviously, until Zach Hyman comes back. And we know that he's not coming back for at least 4 games, right? They said that the earliest is next Saturday now, which is the 8th of September. So that's at least 4 more games. Now, Noah Philp can come in and be your 12th forward, I would think, right? You can play him and move Tomasic to the right wing with Howard, and away you kind of go. But it seems like he's going to ride with some things here a little bit.
Well, if his team plays a proper game of hockey and doesn't put you in a position where you're always down 2-3-0 trying to come back and you've got some confidence, he can do that. He can play the same lines. Like it's always chicken or egg for me. Do we blame a team's disjointedness on the coach always mixing up the lines? Or is the coach always mixing up the lines because his team's so damn disjointed? I'm never quite sure what the answer to that question is. So, yeah, give me 2. Listen, just even 2 periods a night, the way they played the second and third last night, and make the third period just survive a little better. Don't give away 16 pucks, settle for giving away 4 or 5. If you do that every night, you're going to win 9 out of 10. Like that's how hockey works. You don't get to win all 60 minutes. But if you win 40 of them, you got a great chance. So start playing like that, Jay, and I think they will keep the lines together. And I think we will see some consistency in the pairs. And let's start to turn back into the hockey team we're used to watching around here, where you kind of know what you're going to get every night. That's kind of what Knobloch's thinking, I believe.
Yeah, well, you want every coach, I don't care what level, is when you feel you have a good sense of what you're going to get that night. Doesn't mean you get it, but you have, okay, you know what? We're starting to play pretty consistent. Unlucky play, a bad play, that's going to happen in the course of a game. But once you get kind of settled, it's just easier for a coach. And I don't think the Oilers were very settled in their first 10 games. I thought they'd become more settled in their next 10, and the first game was a good start. Logan Cooley, Spec, you know what? Had himself his 8th goal of the season last night. A really nice shot, and then signed himself a pretty big ticket this morning at. Well, it was announced this morning. 10 years at 8 years, excuse me, at $10 million. What did you make of that Utah club last night? There's some real stretches of speed on both sides last game.
Yeah, they look like they've taken the next step, and it doesn't look like they're going to go back here. You know, sometimes rebuilds go up and down and here and there, and that team looks like they've got enough components now. You know, they've got some veteran guys in the back end that are very stabilizing, right? They got a couple of older cats back there that I think you can count on. I'm not sure I count Marino as old, but they got Ian Cole and they got Nate Schmidt, guys that aren't probably going to be there when this team's really good, but they're there for now and they're there for a reason. And up front, tons of skill, man. Lots of good players. Like you watched them last night. You got to keep up. You know, the Oilers aren't slow, and they had to keep up to that team. I'm quite fascinated sort of with the whole Central, Jay. Like I'm fascinated with if these guys are barging through the door. I mean, they're in first place now. I'm not thinking they're going to win the division. But if this team's going to make the playoffs, then I'm kind of wondering, you know, is there going to be 5 from the Central, or what's going to happen with Billy Guerin's team in Mini? They're supposed to be making the playoffs too down there. And, you know, if St. Louis keeps going the way they're going, are we going to be talking about Craig Billington, or Binnington, I should say? Are we going to be talking about Binnington when we, as a trade deadline comes around? Because that'd be a big talk in this town. So the Central's kind of cooking here a little bit. It's kind of fun to watch.
Well, yeah, the Central, hey, if Utah keeps playing well, it looks like it's one of Mini or St. Louis that's coming out. I don't think it's going to be Colorado. I don't think it's going to be Winnipeg, and I don't think it'd be Dallas. Right. Dallas isn't off to a rip-roaring start, but they still got a lot of talent. I think
they're a good team.
They'll be more than fine for sure. And Colorado's doing this without their starter. And I don't think their starter can have better numbers than Wedgwood had overall, although he has come down to earth a little bit in his last 2 starts. But it is a tough division. Even Chicago right now, early on, is looking like they're a little bit more competitive. You know, Seattle's off to a good start, Spec, but I don't have any faith in Seattle being a team that's going to be a force to reckon with all season long. They might stick around and battle in the wild card race, maybe, but that's kind of, best case scenario that I can see at this point. So it is interesting. I do want to move to the Blue Jays, Spec,
yes.
and a big win yesterday. I know you were watching the game as you're watching hockey, Spec, which is fine. It's the best article you wrote in a while. So, maybe it's just a coincidence. But, Vladdy Guerrero comes up huge, and then the bottom of the order comes up huge again. The relievers were very good. You look at this series, really, and like the Blue Jays for long stretches have been the better team.
Yeah, I mean, I remember our good friend Jack Cookson at Pro-Am Sports texted me when the Dodgers were beating Milwaukee 4 straight, and he said, the Jays in Seattle, they're playing for second place. And you know what? It was kind of hard to argue, because Milwaukee's pretty good, and they got 1 run a night against the Dodgers. Like, they got steamrolled. But you know what? Jack wasn't right, because Toronto is every bit the Dodgers equal and maybe the better team. I mean, let's face it, they're a clutch hit away from being up 3-1 in this thing. So yeah, it's I don't want to say it's a pleasant surprise, because I felt like Toronto's good, man. They were the best team in the AL. There's no reason to go in there thinking they were totally inferior the way I think some of the betting houses did. And a lot of people thought, the Dodgers are so great. I didn't think that, but I think some reaffirmation, I guess. Once you can think it and you can believe it, Jay, but once you see it, right? Once you see it, they come out, they win in the first game, then they go all the way to the end in that game 3 and lose, and come back the next night and stomp them pretty good 6-2. I feel like, okay, you know what? We've seen it. Like, this team's every bit as good as the Dodgers. And now it's a best of 3 with 2 in Toronto. And let's go. I got absolute confidence the Jays could win this thing.
Oh, God, yeah. Like, it's, hey, Yamamoto is going to be on the mound on Friday night.
He's
we
good.
know that. And he's really good, but that doesn't mean he's, lots of good pitchers have been able to get hit at some point. It's hard to do. No question, right? Like, I still look back to game 1 when they had runners first and third and no out. And you know what? Hey, give Yamamoto credit. Right? He struck out Vladdy, and then he got the other guys and, even walked the bases loaded. And, the Jays were unable to get him in. And who knows if they win the game or not, if they score a run just in the first inning. But I just wonder what could happen. Like, what do you make of the fact that, like, they are 2-2 in the series? but they've yet to score first. Now they've come back. They've been the best team at coming back. So maybe it doesn't matter. You're down 1-0 in the second inning. Obviously, it doesn't derail this team at all. But I just wonder, would it be different if suddenly the Dodgers were in chase mode? Because I'll say this about the Dodgers. Outside of, they're not getting a lot of guys swinging the bat very well. Like Freeman obviously hit one great home run in game 3, but hasn't done much. Mookie Betts doesn't look like a threat. Ohtani and Hernandez are the two guys. Other than that, they haven't got a lot of contributions from guys at the plate.
Yeah, no, I think I'd rather be you can be the team that scores first, Jay, and I'll be the team that has the most 4-run innings in the major leagues this year, which is the Toronto Blue Jays, right? Nobody's had more 4-run innings at the plate than the Blue Jays, which means once they get going, they're hard to stop. And last night they didn't come on that big inning, did not come with home runs, right? It just came with a bunch of guys hitting singles and doubles. So scoring first, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me, man. I think the Blue Jays have shown us that, the recipe for success, it remains the same. They hang in through a starting pitcher, and they work that guy. Ohtani's pitch count got up pretty quick yesterday, and then they get into the bullpen, right? They foul off enough pitches. They have enough good at bats that they get that starter out of there in the 5th or 6th, and then they make their hay off the bullpen. And that was the strategy last night. It's been the strategy all year long, and I don't mind that strategy. I mean, it's working for them, man, and no point changing it now.
Yeah. Oh, no, definitely not. And, they have a lot, look at Lucas. He moves up to the number 1 hole last night and comes up, gets on base. That led to Vladdy's 2-run home run that gave him the lead. They never looked back. Clement and Varsho and Jimenez in the bottom order show up. Bo Bichette, the guy's playing on one leg, for goodness sakes. And he comes up with, I know it's credited as a single, but that's a double if he's healthy. Not even a debate.
All day long.
That's a double all day long. So, hey, man, it won't be easy tonight, though. Blake Snell probably didn't love how he pitched in game 1. So, I'm real curious. What are you expecting from Trey Savage?
Well, I'm the next 2 games. If you're a pitcher, if you love pitching, it's Savage who fascinates me just the way he pitches. He's so young and inexperienced. Snell is the ace. The Dodgers, I guess he's their ace. I don't know. Yamamoto's, he is who pitches 2 complete games in a row in the baseball playoffs anymore in these days of analytics. That's completely unheard of. And Gossman is in my eyes, the ace of the Blue Jays. So that's the 4 starters over the next 2 games. Man, oh man, you know what? There's a lot going on there, right? There's a lot going on with those 4 guys. It's going to be fun to watch them all pitch. This Savage kid, he's got big ones, man. He's coming out of the minors at you, and he's just a kid, and he's stepping in for his 2nd World Series start. I love that. I think he's a killer good story, this guy.
Oh, buddy, it's an amazing story for sure to look at. So I look forward to that. Spec, enjoy the game tonight, buddy. We will chat with you tomorrow.
Hey, no hockey to get in our way tonight. This will be awesome.
It'll be very well. Actually, I have to coach, but I'm recording the game. So
nobody phone Gregor and tell him.
That's right. I always shut my phone off for jabronis like you who will send me a text thinking it's funny. So yeah.
All right, man, enjoy the game.
Good. Have a good one, buddy. That is Mark Specker, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. Yeah, that's right. Got to practice right after the show. So get to that, get it over with, get home, and then I'll start the recording, and it'll be like I'm watching it live. It'll be live to tape, but you know what? It's actually better. You don't have any social media. You just watch the game. Kind of like it. It's nice. We'll take a quick break. We'll return. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And then we got more order talk, Jay's talk with your Yaremchuk here presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Since 1971, The Brick has been committed to saving you more. Right now, hurry in to save up to $1,000 off sofas and sectionals, up to 40% off mattresses, and up to 35% off furniture. Plus, buy any 3 select major appliances and save 15% off. And if you find a lower price before the end of the year, including Black Friday and Boxing Day, we'll refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
If you've got a smart speaker, get it to play Sports 1440.
And it doesn't matter when you listen as we roll out the Sports Talk
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton's home for sports radio is Sports 1440.
Monopoly Double Play is back at McDonald's. So let's practice winning. You just won 25 grand and go.
Yes!
I said 25 grand.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah!
Much better. Okay, now you just won a brand new Chevrolet Corvette. I think she just fainted. Impressive. Feel like a winner on pack and in-app. Monopoly Double Play is back. While supplies last, 1 in 5 chances to win game piece prizes at outset. Chances to win draw prizes depend on number of entries in each draw. Cash prizes payable by e-transfer. See rules in-app.
I hear the train.
Backed by popular demand, Folsom Prison Revisited. The story of one of the greatest concerts in history returns to the Jubilee Auditorium November 27th. Step back in time before, during, and after this iconic Johnny Cash performance. You'll relive an event that changed the life of Johnny Cash and changed music forever. Tickets at Ticketmaster.ca and the Jubilee box office. Brought to you by Stars and Stories Live.
Groceries, mortgage payments, family holidays, a new car. That's what profit shares look like for Vision Credit Union members. Each year, we return about 75% of our profits, $35 million last year, to the people who bank with us. Because at Vision Credit Union, when you're an owner, you get your share. Why not get yours? Learn how at whatsyourshare.ca. That's whatsyourshare.ca.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.530, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440. Hey, we were talking NBA earlier. I haven't really followed it overly close yet, other than a few. Hey, OKC Thunder, they're good, man. They are real good. The big man and the Spurs also undefeated, and he's kind of changed his game, and Wemby is looking even harder to defend. So it's, that part's interesting. To me, and the Raptors were down early, but they've stormed back and suddenly are leading Houston. High-scoring first half in TO tonight. Not the Toronto game that most people will be watching, though. Let's be honest. You got the Raptors, you got the Leafs, but let's be real. It's the Jays that everybody will be watching later on tonight or listening to right here on Sports 1440, as we will have the game for you. 6:08, 6:09-ish will be the first pitch tonight, with Blake Snell on the mound, and Davis Schneider will be leading off tonight for the Jays in place of Lucas, as they look for an extra righty in the lineup. And now we're going to get to the oil report, brought to you by Go Auto. You're thinking car, truck, SUV? And well, they got over 15,000 vehicles to choose from. They'll have what you want, what you need at goauto.ca. As Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation joins us once again. Ty, how you doing?
I'm doing good. 30 minutes, 49 minutes till first pitch, roughly somewhere around there. It's coming up pretty quick though. I'm pretty nervous.
Well, it should be it should be a good game. The Jays, the one thing they've shown is they belong. I don't think anyone can argue that the Jays don't belong in this series. It's far from over. Probably the two best pitchers for the Dodgers are going to take the mound tonight and on Friday. And hey, the Jays got two of their really good pitchers too. So that's what makes the series so good. What I'm interested in is I really feel the Jays offense has been better. Like, yeah, you got Ohtani and he had his monster game. But other than that, the Dodgers up and down their lineup, there's Teoscar Hernandez and Ohtani. And then after that, it's a major drop-off.
Oh, big time. And, this was a thing, too, against Seattle. Not to the same degree, but against Seattle, like the 7-8-9 hitters on the Mariners did basically nothing that entire series. And you compare it to Jimenez in the ALCS with two massive home runs, everything Ernie Clement's done for this ball club throughout the entire playoff run. IKF has had clutch hits. And then you go to the World Series where, again, it hasn't been total zeros for the Dodgers lower towards their lineup, but Andy Pages has done basically nothing. Kike Hernandez has missed on a lot of really clutch opportunities for them. So it's not the 7-8-9 that the Mariners were, but the 8-9 spots for the Dodgers have been insanely quiet. Then even a guy like Mookie Betts, who's batting .250 now in the playoffs, like he hits right after Ohtani. And I know the 2 home runs Ohtani hit in Game 3 were huge. There were also a couple opportunities where he was getting on base with leadoff doubles or doubles early in innings, and Betts wasn't able to cash him in. So I'm a little surprised Dave Roberts has stuck with that configuration. But again, the Jays 1 through 9. Even yesterday, Ty France comes off the bench, grinds for an at-bat. It was only a ground out to second base, but he put the ball in play and it scored a run. Like, they just have these grinder at-bats that it's so tough for these Dodgers pitchers to get into a rhythm.
I look at, the thing about if you did switch up your lineup, like, who are you going to switch? I guess you move Teoscar Hernandez up, but it's not like anybody else is hitting great.
Yeah, I think Will Smith's been the one, even though he went 0 for 4 last game. He went 0 for 4 last game. He's at least had some pop and some power. I thought maybe they would take a chance at moving Will Smith up, maybe going Ohtani Freeman Smith or something like that. But I guess for Dave Roberts, it's also a little bit of just go with what got you here and hope that the averages kind of change up a little bit. Like Mookie Betts at the end of the day is still going to be a Hall of Famer. Like the chances of him being cold this entire series are probably pretty slim. So Dodgers are just going to keep rolling with it. For the Jays, you're going to need another unexpected hero because no George Springer again tonight. I know you talked about it. Davis Schneider getting the call to be the leadoff hitter. Like that's a big spot to put a guy in who hasn't started yet in this World Series.
Yeah, no, that's totally valid. It'll be I'm fun. It's looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, as I think most of our listeners are as well. The Oilers, they did not have a good start to the game, but the second period and beyond, they were the better team. I don't think there's much debate on that. 5-on-5, they scored 5 goals. They got 3 empty net goals this year. They haven't missed many shots on the empty net, so that's an improvement on their empty net finishing. But the lines where you have, Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, Mangiapane, is Mangiapane or Nugent Hopkins, one of them just, which one do you think is the placeholder when Hyman comes back?
I think it might be Andrew Mangiapane. Just looking at the way the rest of the lineup is going as well. I kind of like that Ike Howard, Adam Henrique duo. I got a piece coming up at OilersNation.com where I looked into things a little bit. And when Henrique is on the ice without Howard, the Oilers are getting outscored. When Howard's on the ice without Henrique, the Oilers are getting outscored. But when they're together, they're outscoring the other team 2-1. And some of the fancy numbers maybe aren't all that encouraging with those two, but I kind of like the idea of Howard and Henrique having the third line and maybe just giving them some time to develop a little bit of chemistry. Maybe it can be like a lowercase version of Derek Roy and Nail Yakupov from way back in the day, the veteran centerman and the young winger who just loves to shoot pucks. So I kind of like that duo there, which means if Henrique can handle 3C, maybe you can keep Nuge up at the top left wing spot with McDavid. And then, when Hyman's back, I would knock Mangiapane down and see if you can get something going with him, maybe even on that third line, maybe with Leon Draisaitl, and add up Hyman right back next to McDavid when he's ready.
Yeah, well, yeah, and we know he's not going to be ready this Saturday or for the road trip. So earliest will be the following Saturday against the Colorado Avalanche. So then Mangiapane, because I'm kind of torn. Nugent Hopkins is playing very well. I still think he's a better winger than he is a center iceman. I like him better as a center iceman than I do a winger. Now, playing with McDavid's a little bit different, but for 3 years, he's never produced a ton 5-on-5 long-term with McDavid. So I guess it's possible it could change. But to me, I think the team might be better if he's your third line center.
I think if you were to ask me that question, on the eve of their first playoff game or something like that, I'd probably have a different answer. But for right now, with the Oilers 5-on-5 scoring being what it is, granted, 6 even strength goals yesterday, 5 of them were 5-on-5. Like, that is a very, very encouraging sign for this team and this offense. But with the scoring being what it is over the first 11 games of the season, I'm totally okay in the moment, ride the hot hand. Nuge is above a point per game. I'm fine keeping him there. And the line combos we're talking about now, they're going to be different 3 weeks from now, 3 months from now. Like, they're going to keep changing as guys kind of go through the ebbs and flows of a regular season. But for now, I like riding the hot hand with RNH.
Regula. Ty Emerson played pretty well last night, but when Regula's ready, and I know he's getting close, do you think that how much of a competition is that going to be between him and Emerson?
I mean, Ty Emerson's picking a great time to sort of get his game in order here. I think the last couple of games he's been really good. And like you said, yesterday might have been his best game of the season. So if he kind of hears the footsteps coming and he's turning on and finding another level, like, competition is a great thing for any team, right? If everyone's kind of got to be on their toes and they know that, hey, if I have a bad game, I could be out of the lineup for the next one, that's good. So if Emerson's going to keep delivering, again, I am riding the hot hand. That would be my philosophy from game 1 till game 82. I kind of wonder a little bit about Troy Stecher as well. Like, is there a chance that they try to sneak him through waivers earlier in the season when teams aren't going through injury issues? Like, the thing with Stecher has always been, well, he's the nurse whisperer, right? You can put him next to Darnell Nurse and he calms him down and they give you good results. But so far this season, the two of them haven't had good results. And I know it's a small-ish sample size. They played about 60 minutes together at 5-on-5, but they've gotten absolutely caved in those 60 minutes. And I kind of look at it and go, if Stetcher's not going to be your nurse whisperer, like, why are you keeping him around? He's a bit more veteran, but does that come with limited upside? Do Regula and Emerson, are they maybe worth keeping around and not risking losing one of those guys? Not that they would waive Ty Emerson, obviously, but I don't know. I kind of think you can run with a 7 that is Emerson and Regula, and maybe it's Stecher that becomes the true odd man out going forward.
Oh, I don't even think it's a discussion, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer that it's Troy Stecher. Like,
Okay.
it's not, they're not at all going to risk Regula over Stecher. Age, size, mobility, everything else. Like, hey, Troy Stetcher's had a really good career for himself, and he might get claimed on waivers by someone, but I know people have texted, hey, maybe they'd trade for him. You only have 7 draft picks. A team's not going to give you up one of their draft picks for Troy Stecher at this point. It's just not going to happen. But I think when Regula is activated and it's getting closer, I think then, because if they activate Regula, that gives them a 23rd person, on the roster. And so they could get away with it because they only have 22. So they could carry 8. But, Knobloch's already on record as saying he doesn't want 8 defensemen. It feels like your 8th defenseman will never play. So I think it's going to be Troy Stecher. And then when Hyman comes back, you could, depending on the health of Janmark and Kapanen, well, Kapanen for sure will be out. You could move them to LTIR and move a guy down. I still think it might be Ike Howard, right? That's probably the guy I would do. Is there another forward that you would send down before him?
I mean, there's been a little bit of trade conversation around Janmark when he's healthy, but I don't think that happens until he's probably played a few games. Like, I don't think another team's just going to look at Janmark before he's played a game and like, yeah, sure, we'll give you some for him. We'll take on the 1.45. So I could see a world where it's Ike Howard going down. Like, again, I'm encouraged with how him and Adam Henrique have looked for the last little bit here, but I also think that's a guy, and there was a really interesting conversation that Johnny Lazarus and Colby Cohen had on Morning Cup of Hockey a few weeks ago, where it was like, hey, if you think a guy's ceiling is a bottom 6 player, even if he's young, keep him in your bottom 6, keep playing him. That's the conversation with Noah Philp. Like, keep playing that guy and give him reps in the bottom 6, let him grow into his role. If you think a guy's ceiling is a top 6 winger, then you need to keep him in the American League until he's ready to be a top 6 winger for you. You got to give him 20 minutes. You got to give him puck touches. Like, that's probably something that isn't helping Ike Howard right now. Is sure, he looks good in his little flashes, but what if that guy could touch the puck 3 times as much in an American Hockey League game? Like, how much more could he be developing? So I totally see the case for sending down Ike Howard if it gets to that point. Give him until January. And then again, I always laugh. We speculate about, the roster crunch that's coming 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, and then someone else gets hurt, and these problems usually just find a way to sort themselves out. So yeah, why risk losing someone on waivers? Why trade someone if you don't have to, when there's that move with Ike Howard sitting there that also comes with the upside of properly developing a future top 6 winger. Like, he hasn't been so bad over the last, 2 weeks that I'm like, oh, this is ridiculous and it's a detriment to him and he's hurting the team. Like, he's totally fine. I just wonder if long-term picture, long-term view for the player's sake, if he wouldn't be better off getting 2 months of heavy ice time and power play time in Bakersfield.
Oh, I don't. Honestly, to me, I think it's an easy decision. I like Coward. Sending him down to the minors isn't like, look at Matt Savoy. It's not going to hurt him. Like, I could look around the league and look at how many players have done it. To me, the orders, like, is Ike Howard's minutes difference-making minutes? No, they're not. And that's not a knock on him, because very few rookies, well, almost no rookies are difference makers, because the ones that are good on teams, those teams stink. So I look at Ike Howard and say, hey, what's your long-term plan? If your long-term plan is to develop a top 6 winger, then get him down there and play a lot. And who knows? Maybe it's 30 games, maybe it's 40 games, maybe it's the rest of the year, and then it's next season for him. But Ike Howard is more of long-term. Well, I know they're trying to win this year. Ike Howard's development is definitely more than just this year, and I think that matters more than this season for him.
Yeah, well, let me throw another name your way quickly, because Ike Howard, just looking yesterday at 5-on-5, he played 837. David Tomasic played 919. He doesn't need waivers to go down either. Do you think there's a world where they keep Ike Howard up in the top 9, and once Hyman's back, Tomasic's not getting that power play time? Could they just say, hey, we're going to put Tomasic in Bakersfield for a month and see what happens?
I wouldn't do it. Older guy, different style of player. I think Tomasic's style, like, he can play in your bottom 6, I think, better. And I don't think he has top 6 potential in the future, whereas Ike Howard does. And so I want to develop the top 6 guy.
Yeah, and I think that's ultimately where I come out as well. And Tomasic, they seem somewhat comfortable playing him down the middle and on the wing. So I'm a big fan of positional versatility. Hey, this goes back to the Jays. Look at how many guys they can rip around the diamond and play 3-4 positions. So if you have a guy like Tomasic who you can go, you know what? If we need him in a pinch on the power play, he can play there. If we need him in a pinch on the wing for a shift with McDavid, we'll put him there. If we need him at center, we'll put him there. Like, that versatility, I think, gives him the edge on top of the development factor.
Ty, enjoy the game tonight, buddy. What's happening in Game 5?
I don't know how to feel about Game 5, but there is just something in me that says they will not lose Game 6. I know it's Yamamoto. I know he's got the back-to-back complete games, and he looks so good right now, but I feel it somewhere in me as a Jays fan. They will not lose Game 6. It's either going 7 or they're winning it in 6. I feel it.
All right, buddy. We shall see. Should be a lot of fun. Enjoy the game.
Thanks. You too.
It's Tyler Yaremchuk from Motors Nation. Take a quick break. We'll come back, wrap things up on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You've probably heard the term supply and demand. Something is needed and someone supplies it. We're GS Construction, and we're in the supply and demand business with you. Edmonton and the surrounding area continue to grow. Infrastructure has to be continually replaced and upgraded to keep up with demand. You see it with new buildings and new roads, but what about below ground, where all sorts of pipes bring you water and take wastewater away? That's where we come in. For more on what we do, go to gsconstruction.ca.
When pumpkins glow and night turns chill, there's one fall treat that fits the bill. A pizza shaped like a jack-o'-lantern with smiling pepperoni pattern. Thin golden crust, so cheesy and tasty. Get yours now, better be hasty. It's only around for a limited time for a spooktacular price, $17.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, yes, it's true. Papa John's Jack-O'-Lantern Pizza is coming for you. Spookily and proudly locally owned and operated.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Prostate cancer affects 1 in 6 men in Alberta, and this November we're fighting back. Every dollar raised fuels early detection and life-saving support. Donate today for the men in our province. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to start your fundraiser or donate today.
Groceries, mortgage payments, family holidays, a new car. That's what profit shares look like for Vision Credit Union members. Each year, we return about 75% of our profits, $35 million last year, to the people who bank with us. Because at Vision Credit Union, when you're an owner, you get your share. Why not get yours? Learn how at whatsyourshare.ca. That's whatsyourshare.ca. When it comes to choosing a hair clinic, the difference is in the doctor.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. Transforming how you feel about yourself is a very personal experience, and I'll work directly with you every step of the way.
Physicians come from all over the world to learn from Dr. Elliott.
When your personal goal is to help other people achieve theirs, you must deeply understand the latest treatments.
Want to feel confident and comfortable? The difference is in the doctor.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott at drvanceelliott.com.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EUL. Get your power play amped up with EUL, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. EUL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5.49. So we get inch closer. Remember, at the conclusion of our show, we're going right to the Jays pregame as a first pitch around 6:08, 6:09, whenever they let you know, and it'll be good. Should be a fun game. You'll be tense, you'll be nervous, you'll be excited, all mixed up into one. The one thing I can say confidently, this game will not go 18 innings. That's the one thing, Cons. You give me a line at playalberta.ca, and I would put the house on that line. Ain't going to be an 18-inning game tonight. Captain Obvious. Hey, we can't let Magic Johnson control all of the Captain Obvious comments of the day, okay? If you missed it earlier, his tweet, he tweets out, really big game tonight. These teams are tied 2-2. Whoever wins will take control of the series. What? Didn't know that one. But yes. Big game for all the Dodger fans, all the Jays fans. Some of you who aren't even fans have probably find yourself that you're in fans. So that'll be good. So we'll see where it goes.
Now, Gregor, he could be right, but he could be wrong too.
Because they might not be in control.
Well, people might have thought the Mariners were in control last round. But I thought the Jays were in control going home. So,
Yeah. Well, hey, do the Jays want to? I'm sure they'd be confident to say, hey, if we lose game 5, no big deal. We can come back and win game 6 and 7. We just did it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the one thing about this Jays team, you can't count them out. I think you've learned that all season long. And it goes back. Remember that game against the Dodgers when Fluharty came in as a rookie and he strikes out Ohtani and Betts? And you think about that game, that's the reason why they have home field advantage in a roundabout way, because that was the difference of one game. And they've come back, 54 times, most in major leagues this season. They came back in the series against Seattle, down 2-0, down 3-2, won both times. So, you know what? They've come back again. They were down they've trailed in every game, so they've come back in 2 of them. And they came back and tied the other one, just ended up losing it in the 18th inning. So the Jays are a resilient bunch. They're a fun team to watch. They can beat you in a lot of different ways. You listen to, I don't know if I totally agree with the comparison as far as the quality of the teams, but Roberts was on with A-Rod and Jeter and them on their baseball show there. And, he's talking about the Jays team. And he said, well, it goes, I don't want to bring up the past, but they remind me of the Marlins when they were against the Yankees, right? Like they can small ball you to death and they're a gritty team. And that is true. But that Marlins team, they didn't have Vladdy Guerrero. Like Vladdy Guerrero, look at his numbers overall in the series. and in major and in the postseason, he's right there with Ohtani, and actually is better overall. Ohtani has they have I think they each have 7 home runs now, correct? Right? So, and Ohtani's hit 5 of his home runs in Ohtani has 8. So he's hit 5 of his 8 in 2 games. You look, they each have the same amount of RBIs. Vladdy struck out 5 times. Ohtani struck out 21 times. Vladdy's average is 419. Ohtani's 268. On base percentage, 500 to 414. Slugging percentage is 806 to 768 in favor of Vladdy. And even the OPS is 1306, ridiculous, to 1182 for Ohtani. So if you look at Vladdy, he's got 11 more hits than Ohtani. Right? The different now, he obviously doesn't strike out as much, right? And he gets more hits, he gets more singles, he gets on base, keeps things going. So you can, is there anybody else? I guess depends what happens in the final 2, potentially 3 games. Is there anyone else you could see possibly as an MVP if it isn't those 2? I don't know who else. I guess Yamamoto, if he has another unreal performance in Game 6. But do you see anybody else that you could say, hey, they could be MVP of the World Series if it wasn't those 2, Cons?
No, I don't think so. Like you said, if Yamamoto goes out there and has another complete game, obviously his name gets thrown into it. But
yeah,
I don't think so.
And even him, it's 2 dominant games, but what do you do in the other 4 or 5? Right? That's just how it works. 5:53. Have yourselves a lovely Wednesday evening. Enjoy the game. We'll talk about it. We'll set up the orders and the Rangers. We'll be live on location tomorrow. Hey, any of you think you know how to drive a race car? We got the simulator. We'll be down at Cantork all day as they celebrate their 25th anniversary, and you can come down. We'll see who's the best driver of Sports 1440 listeners. We'll be doing that tomorrow afternoon as well. So have yourselves a great night. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update. Brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. You got a few days left to help them. For every new vehicle sold, they will feed a family of 4. NorthgateGM.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Bro, 10 minutes away from the World Series getting going. Game 5, Dodgers, Jays currently tied at 2 games apiece. Trey Savage gets the start for the Jays. The Dodgers countering with Blake Snell. We'll have that one for you here on Sports 1440 radio feed only. If you're listening online, you will have Fox Sports Radio in the NHL. 1 game tonight. Jackets up on the Leafs. 1-0 midway through the first period. Off the ice, Utah Mammoth and forward Logan Cooley agreeing to terms on an 8-year contract extension with an AAV of $10 million. Cooley had 53 goals and 68 assists in 160 games so far in his NHL career. In the WHL, Oil Kings on the road in Lethbridge. Puck drop 7 o'clock. In the association, the Raptors trail the Rockets 70-63 at halftime. Elsewhere, Celtics are up on the Cavaliers 51-47, and the Magic have a 50-44 lead over the Pistons in the second quarter. Later on tonight, Bulls host the Kings, Pacers in Dallas, Jazz taking on the Trailblazers, and it's the Lakers in Minnesota. The Edmonton Elks have locked up key member of their secondary, signing Terrell Ford to a deal that will keep him with the green and gold through the 2027 season. He appeared in 18 games last season, recording 56 tackles and 2 interceptions. And from the NFL, the New York Jets acquiring Canadian receiver John Mechie and a 6th-round pick from the Eagles for cornerback Michael Carter and a 7th-rounder. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, Blue Jays baseball. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station.